have great builds, great pools, was unmatched. So, of course, who did we call? Russell Pool. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Sports Center.
I'm Nick DeLuca. The NBA is back tonight. Opener in OKC, raising a banner, Rockets and Thunder on ring night in Oklahoma City. And KD's Rockets debut. Thunder entering the season looking to become the first repeat champ since the Warriors in 2017-2018. Coverage tonight beginning at 7 Eastern here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. In the NFL, Jets are reportedly planning a quarterback change, according to ESPN sources. Tyrod Taylor replacing Justin Fields in Sunday's loss to the Panthers. Team owner Woody Johnson saying today he's supportive of head coach Aaron Glenn amid the 0-7 start, but, quote, it's hard when you have a quarterback with a rating that he's got. I mean, he has the ability, but something is just not jiving. Vikings quarterback Carson Wentz will make another start on Thursday night against the Chargers. Max Brosmer will be the backup with J.J. McCarthy still unable to go. Meanwhile, in baseball, the Angels are hiring Kurt Suzuki as the team's next manager. Spent 16 years playing in the majors, won the World Series in 2019.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Wednesday. More than half of the teams in the NFL have a winning record, but how many of them are actually good? It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
Chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Oh, if we could all take 4-day weekends in the middle of football season, it's good to be Paul O'Neill. Welcome back, Paulie. Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon in 15 minutes. Darry Beckwith next hour. Sean Salisbury, hour 3. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
We watched. Now it's time to pop
Muse,
some top
my
on
goodness.
another edition
Stop
of
it,
AFR
stop it,
with
stop
Bud
it.
Light.
You, let us begin as we do every single day. Yep.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Paulie, your guy got started early today. Tell you what, maybe he's celebrating your return. What do you think about that, Paulie? How about that?
I think you might be onto something there.
Celebrating Paulie's return. Let's go ahead and puff the Magic Dragon a little early today. Huh, Muse?
The mouse just slipped.
Oh, the mouse slipped, right. The mouse just slipped, excuse.
Buttons are very close together.
The buttons are close together, excuse. Huh,
They
Paulie?
are.
Buttons close on your keyboard over there, Paulie? Your screen? Yeah.
They're the same distance every day.
Got it. Sure. Okay, makes sense. Notice that doesn't happen on anybody else's show. Notice that?
Just this one.
Yeah, just this one. The buttons are close together on this show, not anybody else's show. Got it. Chin up, Muse. I'm sure it'll just get better from here.
There's nowhere to go but up. I mean,
You have to get pretty high.
Panama Red? Are you gonna? Okay, well, yeah, I bet you would Panama Red. Yeah.
So I set you up for it, Muse.
Sorry.
Just leave me hanging.
We're still,
All right.
Now we're good.
Should Brian Kelly call plays? We can look at some things that are objective truths. LSU offensively is not very good. That is an objective truth. That's not being critical of young people. That's not anything other than an objective truth. LSU is 50th in passing yards. They are 117th in rushing offense. They are 85th in scoring. As you probably know, LSU is one of 2 schools that has yet to score 25 points against an FBS opponent. The 24 LSU scored this past week against Vanderbilt is the most it scored against an FBS opponent. The prior high was 23 against Louisiana Tech. So we can objectively say through 7 games, this offense has not been very good. There's a lot of people who have criticized Joe Sloan. My contention here through 7 games is there is tons of blame to go around, and whoever you want to blame, you're not wrong. You want to blame Joe Sloan. You want to blame Brian Kelly. You want to blame Brad Davis. You want to blame Nussmeier, the offensive line. Some combination of all of that bears blame in various spots. There's nuance to everything. But one thing that I think is important I bring this up because Brian Kelly was asked this question on Monday, and I want to play his answer. But it is important to note, Brian Kelly is, like another objective truth, is LSU's most experienced play caller. He called plays at Grand Valley State. You may not, many of us may not know this, but because I don't know how many people were watching Grand Valley State in the late 90s, early 2000s when Kelly was there. But he sort of reinvented himself late in his time at Grand Valley. If you go back and have any interest in digging all this up, he was at Grand Valley, and they started the tail, and then he reinvented the offense. As a matter of fact, I was talking to David Kirkus this weekend. David Kirkus set the NCAA receiving touchdown record when he was at Grand Valley. He was one of Brian Kelly's great players, like in their Hall of Fame. He played in the NFL, and he helps LSU run some camps and stuff like that. So he's around the LSU program. He's at the game Saturday in Nashville. I was talking to him on the field before. And he was talking about how BK sort of reinvented himself at that point. And in 2001, they averaged 58.4 points per game at Grand Valley. Did you know that? They went to 3 straight national championship games, won 2 of them. They set 77 records and averaged 58 points a game in 2001. And then he called plays at Central Michigan and at Cincinnati. And then when he went to Notre Dame, he ended up giving up play calling duties. Mike Denbrock went there. Chip Long followed. And that's a time where, look, the pressure, the pull on the head coach, the demands on the head coach become great to where you need to trust your staff and delegate a little bit more. But on Monday, I think it was Cobble that asked Brian Kelly if he had considered taking over play calling duties. Here's what Brian Kelly said Monday.
You know, for me, I can tell you that my involvement is much more in the game plan preparation. Play calling is an art and a science. It's both, right? And if you start getting involved in that too much, it does, in my opinion, over my career, it's not the best thing. Now, I can veto things, and I do have suggestions. And I think that those are things that I'll continue to have. Believe me, I'm on both sides of the ball in special teams. I'm hearing it, listening to it. I have veto power, and I think from my perspective, that's the best place for me.
Guy's a very experienced coach, 35 years as a head coach, seen a lot, done a lot, achieved a lot. If he thinks this is the best way forward, I'll side with him there. The other thing I'll tell you, as far as like the Sloan Nussmeier piece of this whole thing, it would be one thing if these guys didn't have success. Like if they had not had success. The thing that kind of gives me pause is to say, like, we've seen them have success. Like, speaking of objective truths, right? Last year, it was the same offensive coordinator and the same quarterback, and we didn't really have a giant problem with the offense. Yes, the inability to run the ball was a piece of it, no doubt. But LSU didn't go 8-4 because of the offense. LSU went 8-4 because they couldn't tackle Marcel Reed. They couldn't tackle Jalen Milroe, right? Like, they threw up on themselves again in a season opener out in Las Vegas where they allowed USC to go down the field and score the game-winning touchdown. Like, they went 8-4 because of their defense last year, not because of the offense. The offense with, again, this play caller and this quarterback scored 30.5 points per game. They were 7th in passing offense, 25th in total offense, averaging 431 yards per game. Same quarterback with Aaron Anderson and Xavier Thomas. And yes, you had C.J. Daniels and Kyron Lacey, but this year, you've got a healthy Chris Hilton. You added Nick Anderson, you added Barry and Brown. Trades Green is far more involved. All the things, right? So I don't know that it's fair to say that it can't work because it has worked. It's like if somebody runs a 4.35 in the 40 and then they keep running 4.5, 4.6, like, well, they can't run 4.35. Well, yeah, they can. They've done it. So how do you get back to that, I think, is the real question. The other thing Brian Kelly talked about was, sort of in this vein, was about this team self-evaluating, which is something that often happens in the open date. It's something that Brian Kelly said that naturally they did. But there's a couple of things here that I think they're looking at internally as maybe the offensive unlock. 6, please.
Been doing it. I mean, look, we want positive outcomes just like our fan base wants, right? But our last 9 quarters of offense have been trending to where we need to be, right? We're running the football with effectiveness. We're targeting the receivers that need to. We got to get Aaron Anderson probably involved a little bit more now that he's healthy. And then defensively, we need to continue to play like we have played in the first half. And if we do that, we get both sides of the ball playing complementary football. I think I've said it more than once that we haven't played that complementary football where both sides are hitting on all cylinders. We just haven't hit that point yet. So we'll continue to prepare our football team, work on the things that can help us get to that level. And it's an ongoing process that every day is a self-evaluation of what I'm doing, what our players are doing, what our coaches are doing. And we're taking all those hours to make sure we do that.
So there's 2 things really there that I think are worth focusing on. One, he said we're getting the ball to the guys that need to get it. Look at Trades Green. He had 2 catches against Clemson, didn't have another catch until last week against South Carolina. I understand he got hurt against Tech and then missed the Florida game and was back against Ole Miss. And then they gave him 11 targets against South Carolina. Lo and behold, 8 catches, 119 and a score, no doubt. Against Vanderbilt, he was your leading receiver in that game as well. So Xavier Thomas led you in receiving yards because he had the big 62-yarder. But Trades was right there as well. Barry and Brown. Brian Kelly said a week ago they need to get the ball to Barry and Brown. Well, 4 of the first 6 offensive plays, they got the ball to Barry and Brown. Now, Brown had a critical drop in the fourth quarter when you were trying to drive to maybe go tie the game, and unfortunately you had to punt there on that 3rd down. Harlem Berry's another. In the last 2 games, Harlem Berry's had 15 rushing attempts. I don't think it's any coincidence that you're starting to show more of a commitment to running the ball, which Brian Kelly said there as well. Running the ball better. You ran for 166 yards against South Carolina. You ran for 100 yards against Vandy, but it was only on 21 attempts. So you ran for nearly 5 yards a carry. Again, we're going to focus on the 100 yards because it was less, but you only ran 49 plays. You were closer to balance with 28 pass, 21 rush. I'd like to see that even closer, but you averaged nearly 5 yards a carry. You are showing more effectiveness in those ways. Listen, this isn't perfect. I don't think it's going to be perfect, and I don't think at any point this year it's going to be super explosive. But can it be good enough to find a way to complement your defense to where you can get past some of these good teams on your schedule and find a way to win these games? That's going to be a huge part of it. And I think the biggest question is, will any of this matter, who you're trying to force the ball to, whether you run the ball, if you can't block? And you got a real sincere challenge this week with Texas A&M coming in, as we've talked about. You're going to be down Tyree Adams, and you're facing a team that's top 10 in both sacks and tackles for loss. So a huge, huge challenge, but a big opportunity for LSU this weekend as well. And as Brian Kelly said, they will proceed with Joe Sloan calling plays. Be interesting to see if you don't continue to see more simplification of the offense, more attempt at running the football, doing so effectively like they have done the past 2 games as far as their yards per carry averaging nearly an over 5 yards per carry the last 2 games as Texas A&M comes in this weekend. I'll remind you as well, A&M's played 2 road games this year. They gave up 41 against Notre Dame, and they gave up 42 last week at Arkansas. I understand LSU's not an explosive offense, and I don't think they will be. But there's opportunities to be had against that A&M defense if you can find them. All right, it's After Further Review. Show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Tigers are back at home this weekend. You're going to be tailgating. Make sure you got plenty of delicious, ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Remember, they got the officially licensed LSU can. It's a white can as a homage to LSU's tradition of wearing white jerseys at home. Hat tip to Courtney Morgan over at Mockler Beverage, who designed that can, which of course was approved then by Anheuser-Busch. So awesome way to celebrate and drink easy with the Tigers, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, Bud Light. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Tuesday show is powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, Shea Dixon from On 3 The Bengal Tiger visits with us every single Tuesday. Talk a little Cruton. There's a new pick for Elijah Haven to Alabama. Dum, dum, dum. All right, what does Shea know? We'll talk about it next. AFR.
After Further Review.
Man, if you've been dreaming of that pool, this is the time to call Duplessis Builders. I want you to call them right now. Because remember, it's not like you call Duplessis Builders and on Monday they're going to have an excavator in your yard digging a hole. All right, you got to get on their schedule. And this is a process. It starts with that consultation, then the design, and then getting on the schedule, and then it's the build-out, right? So if you want to get on the schedule, you need to start now. From that initial plan all the way to your home paradise, Duplessis Builders can make that happen. So start at the website, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. The showroom's on Airline Highway in Gonzales, right next to the new Rouse's, right there on Airline Highway in Gonzales. And online at duplessisbuilders.net. And remember, there's still time to enter that Dream Pool Sweepstakes benefiting Dreams Come True of Louisiana. duplessisbuilders.net.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, glad you're with us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine. New location going up right there on Pico in Baton Rouge. Excited about it. All right, Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, is with us. Talk a little Cruton as he joins us every Tuesday to do. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
Doing awesome. probably not the same for a lot of LSU Cruton fans when they saw this news. So Sam Spiegelman and Steve Wiltfong over with you guys at Rivals have put in their predictions for Elijah Haven to Alabama. All right, what can you tell us?
Yeah, out of Dunham here in Baton Rouge. Took a visit, he did, this past weekend for the Tennessee game. And obviously Bama beat Tennessee, sold out crowd, all of that. Bama far from that, week one loss to FSU, and now rolled off all these wins in a row. So they're right back in the top few teams in the country. And they've been on Haven pretty heavily more recently. And he's had a really good junior season now. And this is a guy we've kind of tracked since his freshman year when he first started at Dunham, and he kind of debuted as the number one quarterback in the country. And everyone has him ranked somewhere differently, but everyone's got him there in the top 10. So when LSU took a commitment from Peyton Houston out of Evangel, who's obviously had a very good year as well up in North Louisiana, there was sort of that. We talked about on the show, what happens with Elijah Haven here in Baton Rouge, what happens with Garrett Nussmeier's younger brother, Colton, over at Marcus in Texas. And kind of things have been sort of quiet with Colton, but the first kind of notable news of the whole discussion has now been Haven with this prediction to Bama. And before, everybody had been on Florida, Matt, and that was kind of where he was trending. Well, now Florida's had a complete staff shakeup. So it's kind of up in the air as to where things go there. So Bama, a team to watch. And on the same day that Bama lands these picks to reel in Haven, they took a quarterback for next year, a local guy out of Alabaster. So everyone is sort of wondering, does Bama take two? Does LSU take two? And I think the good thing for LSU fans who are hoping LSU is able to figure out, hey, look, this is what the future looks like with, the staff. And here's some, kind of concrete news after the season, maybe perhaps of who's staying or who's being replaced or who's coming in and how that affects recruiting. They'll enjoy knowing that Elijah is going to wait till at least January 1st. That's what he said right now. January 1st is when he would like to make an announcement. So we'll circle that date. Still a while to go there, but for the moment, yes, Bama is considered the team out front when talking to people like Sam and Steve Wiltfong.
Trent Seaborn is the quarterback that committed to Alabama. He's a 4-star there in the Rivals composite. Shea, I know whenever we have this conversation, it's natural to think, well, it's the LSU guy saying sour grapes because the kid doesn't want to go to LSU. The more I kind of dig into this, it really feels like LSU had Peyton Houston as their number one guy. Do you get any sense as to that, or if it was just they pivoted from Haven because maybe Haven didn't prefer LSU or didn't have LSU at the top of his list?
No, I think you're right. And I think it's more than fair to say that, right? I mean, this is a position like quarterback where, it's not like he's an O-lineman or receiver where it's understood, hey, we don't have to order out who we love the most out of guy X, Y, and Z if we're getting all three of them. Quarterback, obviously, even more so when you're pushing for that first guy, that first domino to drop, it can kind of become evident like who you're really pushing for. And it was evident that they were really pushing for Peyton Houston. And that was above both Haven and Nussmeier, right? Like there wasn't kind of reports of, hey, look, they're going into overdrive to get a commitment here. But that was happening with with Peyton Houston. So remember, it was Southern Cal for Peyton Houston, and then it became an Oklahoma LSU race. And ultimately, LSU really sort of buckled in there and said, hey, look, you are the guy that we're after. And I don't think that's a knock on Haven. It's not you and I's decision, right? Mm-hmm. This is it was kind of the view of the staff, and whether fans like it or not, that's what makes recruiting fun to follow. One of the reasons I enjoy following it is we get to see the answer to all those questions in the future. If people ever enjoy revisiting, most times, Matt, people just like to know. And then they don't ever pay attention later on to what they actually do in college. But look, I'll say it. Elijah Haven's had a very good junior year. So I don't think this will be the end of the Elijah Haven conversations relative to LSU fans, even if he does go and commit on January 1st to Alabama, given that he is a kid that's right here in the backyard. But yes, I do think what you're saying is fair, that if you were to say who was the priority for them, it was evident that was Peyton Houston, and they got his commitment.
Shea, a guy that was supposed to commit last week is Javon Vital, as I did check last week, and some people in Southwest Louisiana told me Vital. So Vital, we'll still figure it out. But I'll go with Vital for now until told otherwise. He ended up not making a commitment. Do we know why?
Yes, he pushed things back. I didn't actually check to see what the score was this past weekend, but Hamilton Christian have been undefeated in 1A ball. They're trying to make a push for another deep playoff run, all of that. And he was trying to put together a bunch of stuff between family and school and doing it all up there. And I think it was easiest for them to say, hey, let's wait till after the season, and then you can go ahead and do something with, commitment-wise. But I still have my pick on LSU with a very high confidence level. This is a kid who, again, I think we've talked about it, but in that 5'9" range, and when you play in high school at any level, even more so when you're the best player on a 1A team, you play a lot of positions. But he's kind of in that Aaron Anderson mold, right? Like Xavier Thomas, where by college he's playing a receiver, doing some return stuff. Like he's got the body to play running back if you ever needed it, much like a Juwan Johnson did. But I think from the outset here, receiver is where you're kind of keeping an eye on things, and which turned out to be a really deep receiver haul next year in Louisiana because beyond him, Braylon Calais out of Cecilia is another 4-star in the Rivals 300. And then just this week, we've got alert, surprise, no shocker here. Louisiana's home to the number 1 receiver in the country for next year, a 5-star in Eastern Royal over at Brother Martin. So time to kind of put the recruiting antennas up for that 2017 class as the 2016 or 2026 class sort of winds down.
He is Shea Dixon from On 3, the Bengal Tiger. Of course, Rivals as well on the recruiting side. At Shea Dixon is where you can get him. A big recruiting weekend, I would imagine, Shea, this weekend with Texas A&M coming in. What can we expect?
Yeah, we'll have a visitor list going up on the Bengal Tiger probably in the next 24 hours. They're finalizing it now, but it's going to be a lot of the current commits, a lot of the kids like Vital and Eastern Royal, guys like that for 2027. I think that when you kind of look now, we are a month out from the season being over, and then really kids who are in the playoffs, it starts to heat up for them, and you blink and signing days here. And say it time and again, but if you're going to stumble down the back half right in the next 5 games, and there's all the noise around the program, and you have potential staff changes coming and all of that, what does it mean for recruiting? Like, you can't know what that means for the transfer portal or any of that right now, but you can figure out kind of what it does mean for high school recruiting. And I think their goal is just say, or I know it is, hey, let's get everyone back on campus, from Lamar Brown here in town to Richard Anderson, the defensive lineman, 5-star out of New Orleans, and the out-of-state guys, which takes a bit more effort to get everybody into campus when it's not an official visit. But a number of them have already said they're going to come back and be there this weekend. So out of those 16 commits, which still not a ton of commits, but it's sort of the new era of how things are, coupled with the reality that they had some guys flip and they've missed on some guys, but pound for pound, still the number 2 class in the country behind Oregon, blue chip ratio wise. So you really want to just say, hey, how do we hang on to these 16 and then potentially try to push for flips like we've talked about, Blaine Bradford, who's here in town, committed to Ohio State, or if it's an offensive lineman like Ianacho, who's committed to Oregon from the East Coast.
Fair to say quality over quantity with the high school class right now for the class of 2026. Shea Dixon from On 3, the Bengal Tiger, and Rivals. Last thing for you, Shea. I know you and I have had this conversation many times over the years, but it's something anytime LSU goes through a rough patch that's worth bringing up from recruiting. People ask, well, does LSU struggling or losing? Are they going to lose all their commitments? Just what is the scuttle, the reaction among the recruits and the commits with LSU losing 2 of their last 3?
It hasn't been anything notable, right? Like I've seen around the country where if you have coaching changes, sure, like Penn State's class got gutted, when Florida's class is on watch right now with the Billy Napier news. But by and large, these guys they're 5-2. They could still potentially, make the playoffs. And I don't think I've always said it, but that even commitments, right? They aren't kind of seeing things through the same lens that a fan would, or anyone who's sitting around doing our jobs would. relative to sort of what the talking points are each week. And Matt, I think something that we may need to talk about more. You've made a point of this before, though, but during the NIL era too, that it can lock guys in a bit more than it did previously when it was just a verbal commitment and nothing more, certainly not financially. So to this point, during the season, no decommitments. Now, look, we'll check back with me next Tuesday if they lose this weekend, and perhaps my tone changes there. But I think that they're able to hold on to these guys because by and large, most of these guys are either Louisiana guys or guys who have been committed for a long time and sort of haven't ever really budged off of that.
You'll get him on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Make sure you go read and subscribe over at the On 3 The Bengal Tiger. Of course, rivals on the recruiting side. Shea, we appreciate it as always, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, be well. We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Had our Tuesday meeting over at Parish. Do that every Tuesday morning at the office right there on Lavo Lane. If you're driving I-10, you can't miss the Parish office. It's I-10 in Highland. If you know where Blue Bayou is, the water park, literally just look across the interstate from Blue Bayou, and that's where you'll see the Parish office. ParishBuilt.com is the website, ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. You can fill out a form on the homepage. We'd love to give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. I know as we kind of make our way through storm season toward the holidays, thankfully, it's been a quiet storm season, but this is a great time to get that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. A lot of times you have roof damage you never even know you had until we either inspect it or it rains and you get water in your house. And a lot of times when you start to see the water spots on the ceiling, it's been dripping and leaking for a long time before it finally starts to pool and show, and then you have much bigger issues where you're ripping out insulation and decking and all different types of stuff. You can avoid that major fiasco by giving us a shout and letting us come give you that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Go to ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Remember, from claim to cleanup, we do it all. And, of course, we can help you with financing. If it's a cash job, we can help you finance the full cost of your roof, the replacement cost. Or if it's an insurance job, we can help you finance your deductible as well. So no matter what, we're going to find a way to make it work for you at Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. ParishBuilt.com. Okay, y'all, let's take a quick break. We'll come back, go around the SEC. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, after their first loss of the season, they're getting ready to take on Oklahoma this weekend. And Lane is making some gamesmanship claims against Brent Venables and the Sooners. Wait, you need to hear this. It's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Yeah, I'm going to keep reminding you for as long as I have to. It's time to call River City's 1 Hour Air for the preseason heater safety check. Think about what I just said. Preseason heater safety check. Before the cold weather comes, before you turn on your heater, call River City's 1 Hour Air. They'll come by, the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town. They'll come by, make sure your heater is safe and efficient for the coming cold weather months. Listen, of course, you want to lower your energy bills. You want to make sure that your system is running efficiently. If you do have a problem, you want to catch it early with that diagnostic so that way they can fix whatever's going on so it doesn't become a very big, very costly repair later down the line. But most importantly, you want to make sure your heater is safe to run during the cold weather months. So call River City's 1 Hour Air, mention the Moscona special, they'll knock $30 off the price. 752-0001, 752-0001.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, They've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun. Over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea.
The Ole Miss Rebels lost their first game of the season this past week, losing at Georgia because their defense stinks and they gave up 45 points. And it's even more maddening that LSU couldn't move the ball against that team because their defense stinks. Well, now Ole Miss is going to Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. And Lane Kiffin, in preparing his Ole Miss team for this game, of course, naturally, is watching some game film of previous Oklahoma games. And I was watching Oklahoma against Auburn from a few weeks back, where it was Jackson Arnold against his former team and all that stuff. And apparently Lane Kiffin noticed something that Oklahoma, he thinks, actually had Auburn signals.
A film study of signals. I mean, as I just tell you how it is, I think they do a great job of that. So if you study people really well, tendencies, and then you have enough confidence as a coach to go after those, that seems what he does. It seems like, they've got a really good beat on the plays that are coming when they're called, and they do a great job of going and taking those away. When you look at the Auburn game, I told Hugh after the game watching it, you might want to switch the signals. Like, it looks like they have the plays. The middle safety's running down to steal slants, which is very abnormal.
There's a video of Lane Kiffin before the LSU game. You might have seen it, but during pregame warmups, Lane is not looking at his team. He's down on the LSU end of the field watching LSU warm up. And it's one of the sort of weird evil genius tendencies that people who are like super brilliant have. And I'm not like trying to be hyperbolic here, but I do think Lane Kiffin offensively is a very brilliant guy. I don't know what his SAT is. I don't really care. I don't know that he could solve the debt crisis or anything like that. But can he attack a defense? Yes, he can. He's objectively great at that. He's been a brilliant offensive mind his whole career. And that's an interesting thing to see, and maybe something for LSU and other teams to be on alert for throughout the remainder of this season, every time they go against Ole Miss. But be fascinating to see that matchup this week with Oklahoma and Ole Miss. Game is in Norman. Remember, the Sooners lost the game to Texas, And then this past week went to Columbia, South Carolina, and the defense was outstanding, and they won 26-7. As you continue to see maybe John Mateer start to get a little healthier, how does that look? But if ever there was a get-right opportunity for Oklahoma's offense, it's the Ole Miss defense. The question is on the flip side, how does this really elite level? Someone asked me today, like, are defenses in college football dead? And I don't know that I have a great answer to that question, but Oklahoma is about as good a defensive team as I've seen this year. They're second in the country in scoring defense, allowing 9.4 points per game. So, like, I kind of look at Oklahoma and go, this is a really fascinating matchup of a great defensive mind in Brent Venables. Like, that's whatever you think about him as a head coach. He's been a great defensive coordinator his whole life. And Lane Kiffin, who whatever you think about him as a head coach, has been a great offensive coordinator his whole life. These two guys going head-to-head with really good offensive talent and good scheme and all that sort of stuff. That's going to be a fascinating watch. Now, when you flip it and you've got Oklahoma's offense with a quarterback with a bum hand and a bad Ole Miss defense, that's just kind of like, who's the tallest short kid. But, and look, whenever Mateer's right, I think that offense is really good, just to be clear. But I'm saying they've struggled a bit. Mateer threw for 150 against South Carolina last week. It's been a little bit of a struggle as he's coming back from the hand injury. But when the other part of that matchup is there, when Ole Miss's offense is on the field against the Oklahoma defense, that's going to be fascinating theater. Saturday, 11 a.m. ABC there from Norman. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. And, man, we have they rolled out their NIL, their LSU football NIL program with Garrett Nussmeier, naturally. And there's many more to come, and I'm very pleased to tell you, and if you're tooling around at LouisianaSports.net, you'll probably see some of these up there as well. But Our Lady of the Lake is also now rolling out NIL deals with Harold Perkins, with Jack Pyburn, with Bauer Sharp. See, LSU and Our Lady of the Lake are joined at the hip. They're interwoven. They're one and the same. Our Lady of the Lake is the championship health partner of LSU Athletics. When you think LSU, Louisiana State University, LSU Athletics, anything they're in, think Our Lady of the Lake. They take care of the LSU athletes. They take care of the students at the health center. They take care of everyday champions like you and me. It's Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together, we roar. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Florida Gators.
DJ Lagway and linebacker Miles Graham, both are true sophomores, affirmed their commitment to Florida following Billy Napier's dismissal. Lagway said, quote, "I'm a Florida Gator man. I'm focused right now. My biggest focus, these 5 games, continue to better my craft, continue to develop as a player." Graham said along the same lines, we'll see what happens, though, when the season ends.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Shane Beamer updated a couple of injuries, heavy on offensive linemen. Cason Henry started the season at right tackle, hasn't played since the Vanderbilt game. Beamer said that Henry likely will not return this season. Also, standout edge Dylan Stewart left the Oklahoma game with a hip injury. He is expected to practice Tuesday.
The Auburn Tigers.
Vote of confidence from Auburn's athletic director would be, quote, huge. According to Hugh Freeze, quote, that would make everyone feel a lot better for sure. Said he hadn't talked to John Cohen, but that Cohen has been supported. Cohen hired Freeze late in 2022, but Freeze just 14-18 overall at Auburn, hasn't won more than 6 games in any of his seasons there at Auburn.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Trent Seaborn, quarterback for the class of 2027, has committed to Alabama, 6'1", 200-pounder from Alabaster, Alabama. The number 7 pocket passer, the number 114 overall prospect for 2027. He's a 4-star. He picked in-state Alabama over Miami, Oregon, and South Carolina.
Texas A&M!
And the SEC has fined Texas A&M $50,000 and reprimanded Coach Mike Elko after a player faked an injury. So this is the first of that new policy. About 13 minutes to play in the game. Texas A&M cornerback Tyreek Chappell went to the ground after the ball was spotted by officials. There's coaches on the sideline very clearly telling him to get down. That, of course, is no longer allowed in the Southeastern Conference. So Elko gets a reprimand. A&M fined $50,000 if it happens again. It's $100,000. Elko reprimanded a second time. And if it happens a third time, Elko's suspended for a game. So something worth watching here with the first reprimand. as far as the faking injury policy. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. With locations all over South Louisiana, find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Hey, I was texting late last week with my buddy Martin Michel over at Shaw Bills, and he wanted me to let you know that this deal is going on over at Shaw Bills for Michelin tires through the end of the month, so through Halloween. So this ends Halloween Day, so it's basically for the next, what's today, the 21st, the next 10 days. You get a second $80 rebate. So it's two $80 rebates that are stackable, plus a $118 free install with your Shaw Bills credit card. That's $278 off a set of Michelin tires. Yo, like, you need tires. You want the best tires on the road. Here's an opportunity to save $278 off your set of 4 tires. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, or get by any of the Shaw Bills locations in South Louisiana. Shaw Bills, we keep you rolling. All right, glad to have you hanging out with us here, y'all. Darry Beckwith, former LSU linebackers, here in 30 minutes from right now. A year ago, of course, LSU played Texas A&M. Tigers had the Aggies in a chokehold, and then the game changed. When Connor Wegman exited, Marcel Reed came in. Tigers couldn't tackle a running quarterback. We saw the same thing against Jalen Milroe a couple weeks later when the Tigers played. After the bye, when the Tigers played Alabama. And we thought maybe LSU had solved that running quarterback issue for how they were able to handle Lenore Sellers by and large. But then Diego Pavia this past weekend. So do we believe confidently that LSU is better equipped to stop a mobile quarterback this weekend with Marcel Reed and the Aggies coming in? We'll talk about that with Darry Beckwith again about 30 minutes from right now. And all the conversation about Billy Napier being fired. Who's next? Could it be Lane Kiffin? Our buddy Edgar Thompson, who's covered the Gators for decades there at the Orlando Sentinel. Edgar is going to be with us in about 45 minutes from right now to give us the latest there on what's going on with the Gators. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Come back. We'll wrap up hour number 1. The World Series is set. We've got odds on the World Series. We've got some coaching odds as well that I want to get to. We'll do it next here on AFR.
AFR.
Let's Rev, y'all. Go to letsrev.com, letsrev.com, letsrev.com. Rev is Louisiana's largest privately owned and operated internet service provider. It's known for its 5-star customer service, its 5-star reliability, and Rev is powered by an all-fiber network, backed by local support teams right here in Louisiana. From the river to the lake to the bayou, Rev services nearly 70,000 residential and business customers in the parishes that you and I call home, and I could not be more fired up. Rev, with their 90-year legacy, has got you covered. They just laid fiber in my neighborhood last week, so I got fiber in my neighborhood now too, y'all. LetsRev.com for your home, for your business, all over South Louisiana. Go to letsrev.com to switch today. Letsrev.com, letsrev.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, Ice Cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a problem.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Look at her face, she ain't a fooling me.
The 1-0. Swing and a drive, left field. This one is back. George Springer just had his Kirk Gibson moment. Bad knee and all, a 3-run homer to put the Blue Jays ahead.
That was Carl Ravitch on ESPN Radio. George Springer, 3-run homer, bottom of the 7th for the Toronto Blue Jays. That would give them the final margin. 4-3, Toronto beats Seattle in Game 7. The Blue Jays at home there at Rogers Center. They're off to the World Series against the defending champ Dodgers. And really didn't matter who was going to win the ALCS. The Dodgers were going to be the prohibitive favorite in this World Series. We got this up at LouisianaSports.net if you're interested in reading all the betting odds. By the way, if you ever go to LouisianaSports.net, under special sections, you hit the drop down. There's a sports betting section where we give you a lot of odds and different stuff like that. In any event, the Dodgers in this World Series, the Dodgers are a minus 210 favorite. The Mariners at plus $1.80, meaning if you wanted to bet the Dodgers to win the World Series, you'd have to bet $210 to win 100. There are also like exact outcome bets where you want to bet how one of the teams wins it. So, for example, like the Dodgers sweep, that's plus 650. The Dodgers win in 5, it's plus 350. However you want to bet it, those are there. And Shohei Ohtani, this is probably no surprise whatsoever, but Shohei Ohtani is the betting favorite to be the World Series MVP there with 2-1 odds. Vlad Guerrero is next at 6-1, followed by Freddie Freeman, George Springer, Hernandez, Snell, Betts, Varsho, Kirk, all on the list. If you want to go see it, it's all there at LouisianaSports.net. So, it's just another reminder, and I understand this maybe isn't the time of year where people are in this market are locked into Major League Baseball, especially if you don't have an allegiance to either of the teams in. But it's just another reminder that, I mean, if you're not in the top 10 in Major League Baseball in payroll, that both these teams are top 5. Dodgers have the number 1 payroll. The Blue Jays have the 5th highest payroll in baseball. If you are not spending money in baseball, you just cannot win the World Series. It's something that's evident time and time again. I don't begrudge it. Everyone has the opportunity to win. All these owners are billionaires. They could all spend the money if they choose to. Some make more of a commitment to win. It's not actually that dissimilar from what we're seeing right now in college football, where there is no salary cap. Yes, there's the $20.5 million on the rev share, but as far as NIL and the way you want to get creative to structure deals, you can do that, and you could spend on facilities and coaches and all that sort of stuff. It's who has the appetite to do it, who wants to win. You look at Texas Tech and SMU and programs like that have decided, we're going to make a commitment to being financially invested to winning because it matters. They're winning, and it's not a great surprise. But Dodgers favored to go back-to-back. A heavy favorite to beat the Blue Jays in the World Series. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. You can visit sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Tigers back at home this weekend. You're going to be tailgating. Remember, they got generators and fans and all the stuff that you would need for your tailgate over there, all the equipment you would need to power your tailgate at any of the Sunshine locations, sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Tigers are welcoming in Mike Elko and the Texas A&M Aggies. And Elko's name has been coming up now for the vacant Penn State job. He was asked about it during his Monday press conference. Elko was. Here's what he said.
I don't discuss it with my players. I think it's absolutely hilarious how you guys cover coaches. I think 3 weeks ago I was getting fired. Now I'm getting hired. Now you don't want me to stay, but I'm leaving. Like, it's absolutely hilarious. It is a waste of brain space to spend any time talking or thinking about any of that stupidity.
By the way, 3 weeks ago, Texas A&M was 4-0. They had beaten Mississippi State at that point, 31-9. I don't think anybody was firing him 3 weeks ago. I also noticed that Mike Elko didn't actually answer the question. So, Muse, you're a veteran of the show.
I am.
How would we classify Mike Elko's answer?
That would be the non-denial denial.
Give yourself a ding. There we go. Because you have the non-denial, denial, or the denial. There's 3 different options when asked about a coach is asked about interest in another job. That was a non-denial denial by Mike Elko. See how that evolves. All right, Hour 2's next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's. Oh, it's Taco Tuesday, y'all. You love a Taco Tuesday? Anybody in here like a Taco Tuesday? You a Taco Tuesday guy?
Dig a Taco Tuesday,
Paulie,
absolutely.
you a Taco Tuesday guy?
Absolutely.
Hard shell, soft shell? What do you like?
Hard shell.
Hard shell, Muse?
Both.
Both, yeah.
I get one of each.
You had to pick. You're on a desert island, you get one for the rest of your life. Hard shell, soft shell. Make up your mind.
I'm going to go hard shell.
You know what? I'm with you guys. In my younger days, I probably would have gone soft shell. But, now, as I mature a little bit more, I realize good hard shell corn tortilla. God, that's the way to go. Taco Tuesday, they got everything you need over at Rouse's. You need your ground meat. You need your taco shells. If you like sour creams and chives and all that sort of stuff, do you put all that stuff on your taco? Cheese?
Cheese, yeah.
No
lettuce.
sour cream, huh?
Yeah.
I don't like sour cream.
Me either.
You can keep sour cream. I don't want sour cream on anything. Keep that away from me. But anyway, whatever you want, it's Taco Tuesday. They got everything you need over at Rouse's. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca. The NBA back with 2 games tonight. Ring night in OKC, defending champion Thunder hosting the Rockets in KD's Houston debut. Thunder favorites to win the 2026 NBA title at ESPN. Bet coverage tonight beginning at 7 Eastern here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Warriors and Lakers will follow. And the NFL, Ravens back from their bye week. Still no practice for 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson dealing with a hamstring injury. ESPN's Adam Schefter says it's not an encouraging sign.
That was a little surprising to me. Now, maybe they're just being careful because it's a Monday, it's the start of the week, and they figure they could get him an extra few days and get him back Wednesday or Thursday. That's what I'm curious about. But I honestly thought, okay, they're going to be back at work Monday. I would think that Lamar would be practicing, and he wasn't. That was not a great sign.
Schefter on Get Up. Lamar suffered the injury in Baltimore's Week 4 loss to the Chiefs. Vikings quarterback Carson Wentz will make another start on Thursday night against the Chargers. Head coach Kevin O'Connell saying J.J. McCarthy may have a chance to return next week.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Wednesday. More than half of the teams in the NFL have a winning record, but how many of them are actually good? It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Former Tiger linebacker Darry Beckwith in 15 minutes. Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel, bottom of this hour. We'll talk to Edgar about the Florida coaching search. Why now was the end for Napier? Who might be next? Are the Kiffin rumors real? Who else might be in there in the mix? Are they looking to spend? What happens with the roster? All that sort of stuff. Get to Edgar at the bottom of this hour. And Sean Salisbury, 1 hour from right now. So we've got a ton to do. I'm glad you're hanging out with us here. The Saints are 1-6 on the season, and it doesn't get any easier. New Orleans is going to welcome in Tampa Bay here to the Dome on Sunday. And for the Bucs, they're going to come in on short rest and shorthanded. Tampa did play against the Lions on Monday Night Football in Detroit and lost 24-9. So very big in all sports, not just about who you play, but when and where you play them. So travel, I think, is often one of the most understated storylines when we talk about professional sports. How much travel a team has to do. We're starting to see that now in college football, and particularly in the Big Ten, where you have teams like UCLA playing Rutgers, having to fly across the country, things of that nature. Washington against Maryland. I mean, that travel is significant, and it shouldn't be understated, and we're seeing the effects of teams having to go across country. Penn State, disappointing loss, then has to fly to L.A. to take on UCLA in front of 9,000 people. That wears on you. Now, you expect professionals to have a higher level of commitment, buy-in, all that stuff, because they're pros. They're being paid salaries and being paid like professionals. Spare me the revenue share. Sorry about, they are professionals. This is their job. This is what they are doing. They are employees. So I think for Tampa, playing Monday night in Detroit, flying back to Tampa, having now an off day Tuesday to try to get your legs under you, then to turn around and prepare Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, travel Saturday, play Sunday. It's a quick turnaround for Tampa to have to go back-to-back road games and road on a short week. That's a benefit for New Orleans coming up this week. By the way, the game this week in New Orleans is at 3:05. It's in the afternoon window, the late afternoon window, with the Saints welcoming in the Bucs. And Tampa is going to be shorthanded because they lost Mike Evans due to injury on Monday Night Football. Evans, who had just come back after suffering a hamstring injury in Week 3, broke his collarbone and was concussed in the game on Monday Night Football at Detroit. So Mike Evans is going to be out for it's not anticipated he'll be out for the remainder of the season, but likely toward the end of the season. And Todd Bowles, when he met with reporters on Tuesday, was asked how not having Mike Evans might change their game plan moving forward.
Well, he's definitely going to have to do that, but we've been doing it the past couple of weeks since he's been out, so it's kind of the norm right now, unfortunately. But when you lose somebody like that, it's always going to affect your offense, and you're going to have to change and do different things.
So there's two components of this Mike Evans injury that is interesting from Tampa's perspective. Number one is this very likely means we are going to see one of the great streaks in the NFL come to an end. Mike Evans had recorded 1,000 receiving yards in each of his first 11 NFL seasons. He's the only receiver ever to do that, to have 1,000 receiving yards in each of his first 11 seasons in the NFL. The 11 consecutive 1,000 receiving yard seasons also tied Jerry Rice for the most such seasons in NFL history, with 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Tim Brown, by the way, is next on the list with 9. So consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, it's Jerry Rice and Mike Evans at 11. Evans with 1,000 yards this season would have broken that record. And now that most certainly will not happen. He's been out, as we mentioned, since Week 3 with that hamstring injury, and now he's going to miss a chunk of this season, which most certainly means he will not get to 1,000 yards. He's at 140 yards on the season, by the way. So 14 catches for 140 and 1 score. So Mike Evans, who's 32 years old, has had an outstanding career, is most certainly a future Hall of Famer. We'll see that incredible streak end. I know here we mostly, from the Saints lens, look at Mike Evans as the guy that had so many battles with Marshawn Lattimore and oftentimes got frustrated and cheap-shotted Lattimore as well on the sideline of the game in the Dome when Jameis was up in his face. Anyway, all that notwithstanding, you may not like that part of the competitive nature of the rivalry, but you can respect the fact that Mike Evans had an incredible career up until this point. That's one. Two is this means it's a great opportunity for their other receivers, Sterling Shepard, and more notably, the rookie Emeka Egbuka. So Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State has kind of taken the mantle there as wide receiver 1 with Mike Evans out. Now with Evans, Shepard, and Egbuka, that was a hell of a three-headed monster. And then you throw tight end Cade Otton in the mix as well. Made it really challenging for opponents. But Egbuka so far this season, 31 catches, 527 yards. He's averaging 17 yards of reception and leading the team with 5 touchdowns. He's been outstanding so far in the first 7 games of his rookie season. And then Shepard, of course, who kind of made his hay early in his career with the New York Football Giants. Shepard's 32 years old. He's a veteran, but having a very nice season there with 26 catches for 267 yards and a score. He's averaging 10 yards a reception. So they were a good 1-2 punch, but they have a legit number one now with Emeka Egbuka, which means here you go, Kool-Aid McKinstry and Quincy Riley. Riley had a nice day this past weekend, came up with an interception. Kool-Aid has really struggled. We've documented that plenty throughout the start of the season. Kool-Aid has really struggled with opposing teams' number one receivers. I know he was the conference defensive player of the week a couple of weeks ago because of his 2 interceptions. If you're here regularly, you know my feeling on that. I think he caught 2 punts, and they awarded him the defensive player of the week. They didn't mention it was the game against the Giants. His PI, he got beat on the sideline. He gave up a touchdown to the tight end. It was not a great day for Kool-Aid. He just caught 2 punts that went as interceptions. So in any event, another great opportunity for Kool-Aid against a great young receiver, a guy who's proving to be a legit number one in Emeka Egbuka. Let's see how Kool-Aid McKinstry fares this weekend in the Dome against Egbuka. But no Mike Evans for Tampa when they come to the Dome, which gives the struggling Saints defense a little bit of a reprieve not to have to deal with all 3 of those guys plus Cade Otton. But a very good offense there with Rashad White, Bucky Irving, toting the rock. Baker is playing at an MVP level. I know they lost on Monday Night Football, but Baker, before that game, many thought might have been the front runner for MVP. He's playing at that level. It's going to be a really tough challenge for New Orleans in the Dome Sunday afternoon. But no Mike Evans, as he suffered a broken collarbone and a concussion. He'll be out this week and for the foreseeable future for Tampa. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Firstsouthland.com is where you can start. That's what Eli Graham did. He called First South Farm Credit.
They have a very diverse background, but they all understand agriculture and land and obviously lending. They'll, I guess, customize things to make it work for you.
Whatever your need may be, if it's agriculture, if it's a couple hundred acres of recreational property, if it's 100 acres to build your family's dream home, do like Eli Graham did and call First South Farm Credit. Your first call when it comes to buying land. firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Certainly plenty of farmers know all about First South Farm Credit. They also know about Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com, title sponsor of our Tuesday shows all throughout the year. Let me grab a quick break. Former Tiger, all-SEC linebacker Darry Beckwith is going to be here. Are these Tigers defensively more equipped to handle a running quarterback in Marcel Reed than they were a year ago when they went to College Station? We'll talk about that with Darry next on AFR.
AFR.
Gents, if you are already on hormone replacement therapy, I want you to consider switching to Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Hear me out. Maybe you're comfortable with who your current provider is. Maybe you've had a relationship there for a while. But what if you could save money and get better care? You would be interested in that now, wouldn't you? I switched. YourGoodwood.com is the website. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com. They're right there on Drusilla in Baton Rouge. Listen, they can ship your medicine, to your supplements to your home. So if you want, you can give your injections at home yourself. Or if you want to go into the clinic, you can certainly do that. They have the lowest prices, never any contracts. Lowest prices, never any contracts. And when you go twice a year for your blood work, they pick up the cost for your blood work. So it's going to save you money. Learn more. YourGoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6th generation.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
I'm glad you're with us on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Always appreciate when we get a couple of minutes of former Tiger linebacker Darry Beckwith, good enough to join us now. Darry, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, Matt. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Be doing better if the Tigers had won against Vanderbilt. Do you feel like internally as a player, whenever you have a loss, like a disappointing loss like they just did, that it maybe takes some of the luster or attention off the next game, which might have been a really big game like this one?
It does, because anytime you come into a season with high expectations, just like LSU did, every loss seems like the world is falling apart. I've been a part of that. When I got to LSU as a freshman, we had Jamarcus Russell as a quarterback, Dwayne Bowe, Buster Davis, a plethora of receivers, guys returning on defense. And, man, when we lost against Tennessee after the Hurricane game on a Monday night, we were up 14-0, we lost in overtime. They have for sale signs in Coach Miles' yard. So I know what it's like to have high expectations, and especially for LSU fans, which they have every right to have those expectations because of the resources and the support that we have as a football program. So internally within that locker room, let me tell you right now, the fans are devastated and the players are just as devastated as the fans are. Nobody wants to win the games as much as the players do. So internally, yes, it does seem like right now that everything is dark and gloomy, but at some point you have to come together and try to turn this thing around.
So how do you bounce back?
You have to look yourself in the mirror personally. Each player has to hold themselves accountable. No finger pointing. The defense can't say, well, the offense is moving the ball. And the offense can't say, oh, well, when we finally score some points, you guys can't stop anybody. Every person individually has to look themselves in the mirror and ask themselves like a genuine question, am I giving 110%? Am I doing everything possible to make sure that I'm prepared for Saturday night? Am I studying film properly? Am I taking care of nutrition properly? Am I resting properly? And it's hard, Matt, in today's age, especially with NIL. These guys have so much other things to deal with besides their game plan. I don't know how I would have dealt with NIL knowing I got to play Tim Tebow and Percy Harvin on a Saturday night in the swamp. I don't know how I would deal with NIL, and I know I got Dan McFadden and Felix Jones and those guys to go up against. So these guys have to get rid of all distractions, and they have to really stop listening to guys like me, criticize them, listen to guys on the radio and criticize them, because that does play a part. Players are lying to you when they say we don't listen to outside noise. We do.
I know. Hey, Darry.
I'll be honest. I was in college. I read Tiger droppings. I read everything about, Darry Beckwith looked terrible his senior year. What's wrong with him? I read all of that. And that stuff can take a toll on you. So they had to put the phone down, which is easier said than done. Put the phone down, turn off the news, lock in, stay focused, hold yourself accountable, and be honest and truthful with yourself. If you lie to yourself, if that team is lying to themselves and think that they got it made in the shade drinking lemonade, then it's going to be a tough rest of the season.
All right, Darry, let's be honest about this defense. They're ninth in the country at 14.6 points per game. It's pretty good through 7 games. They're top 10 in the country. But when they played some pretty good offenses in Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, they struggled. So give me your assessment through 7 games. How good is this defense?
They have been great against mediocre offenses, and they have been average against great offenses. And obviously against Vanderbilt, they couldn't stop them at all. They did make a few stops, towards the end to give the offense a chance. And then against Ole Miss, I tell people all the time, it's impossible to prepare for the Ole Miss offense because of the up-tempo. And when you play a team like Ole Miss, your greatest defense is your offense. Can you play keep away? And look, they made some stops in that Ole Miss game as well. But I think it comes down to this personnel decision. We talked about it earlier in the year, even with Harold Perkins playing that star linebacker position. I'm not singling him out. What I am saying, though, that puts you in a base 4-3 defense. A base 4-3 defense is really tailored toward 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends. It's tailored toward 21 personnel, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. A 4-3 defense is really not tailored toward a spread offense, meaning 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, or 10 personnel, 1 running back, no tight ends. They spread you out. And so sometimes with Harold Perkins, with him playing that nickel Sam position, he is kind of put in a bad position of guarding a slot receiver, or they put him in matchup problems that can kind of expose that whole defense. And I'm not saying he hasn't done a great job in coverage. He has. But when you play elite-level offenses like Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, you can get exposed. I don't know if people remember this against Florida. We gave up a long touchdown against Florida, but they called it back. That was Harold Perkins in coverage. Why? Because they can expose him in coverage based on the personnel that they do. So I think with Blake Baker, they need to make a decision on if they're going to stick to this 4-3 base defense going against these spread offense, because teams only going to get better offensively. A&M is good offensively. Arkansas is good offensively. Alabama is good offensively. Oklahoma is good offensively. So they seeing that you're in a base 4-3, so we're just going to spread you out and put Harold Perkins in and mismatch problems and see if we can get something going. So I think that's something they really have to look at. They've had success when they put more DBs on the field, but we'll see how that goes.
So, Darry, let's dig a little deeper there this week, because it was this game a year ago that really exposed LSU and their inability to stop a running quarterback. I mean, LSU had A&M in a headlock when Connor Wegman was in the game. Third quarter, A&M makes the switch to Marcel Reed, and everything turned on its head. That game unraveled. Tigers gave up a bajillion yards rushing to Jalen Milroe. We all know the story. Is this defense better equipped to handle a running quarterback in Marcel Reed than they were a year ago?
I hope so. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Right.
So if it happens again, that's on these players and his coaching staff. And listen, I want to put things in perspective when it comes to the zone read. I think people are like, man, how can you not stop a zone read? How can somebody not take the dive? How can somebody not take the quarterback? But people at home need to realize this is a new age offense. These zone reads are tagged with the RPO. So what that means, your linebackers, like back when I played in the Ice Age, when it was a zone read, and I saw the running back come down the A gap, I knew I had the running back in the A gap. Or if I was front side and the running back went to A gap and the tackle blocked down, I knew how to step up and I had the quarterback. It was simple, nice and simple. But now these linebackers, these backside linebackers and frontside linebackers have to be extremely patient because of their RPO tag. So, for instance, if you're a front side linebacker and you know you have the quarterback and you go too quick, he reads that, he's going to throw a hot route over your head. So you have to have extremely eye discipline. You have to be patient. And when you do see run, you have to commit that it's run. That's why it's so imperative. Linebackers these days, these guys have to be able to run. That's why you see a Whit Weeks and those guys like that who can run and get sideline to sideline, because it takes extreme patience, eye discipline, and knowing when to commit when you know it's a run. Because if you commit too early with their RPO tag to it, they can throw the hot route over your head. So I do think they are better equipped this year. I think they've done a good job against running quarterbacks. You know, Diego Pavia last week was just an anomaly because most of his runs came on broken pass plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't sack him. It wasn't like he just lined up and just, let me just run a power and run down your throat. He made plays like sandlot football, like Johnny Manziel, which I can't stand. But anyway, that's what happened. But I think they are well equipped this year to handle that zone read offense.
Darry, you mentioned your linebackers like Whit Weeks. He didn't play this last week, and I think it's a long shot for him to play this week as well, as some of what I've been told. Let's assume they don't have Whit again this week against Texas A&M, and Devon Keys has to play. How big of a drop-off is there as you sort of look at what Whit, if they don't have Whit, what that would mean and what Devon Keys maybe is good at or where he's maybe deficient?
It's a drop-off in terms of energy and being able to galvanize the guys around you. I think we get so enamored by stats as fans. Like, man, he has 15 tackles. But even if a guy has 5 tackles, his impact of just being on the field is sometimes greater than 15 tackles. I think one game Devon Keys ended up he had like 16 tackles one game. The game that
it was the Florida game. It was when it was Florida when Whit got ejected.
Yes. So stats does not override the character of that defense. And Whit Weeks epitomizes the character of the defense. I would take Whit Weeks having 5 tackles over somebody having 16 tackles that replace them because of the energy that's surrounding him, meaning other players are going to do their job and do it at a high level because of what he brings to the defense. He's going to be in the right position all times, and guys know he's going to hold them accountable. Because sometimes if a guy has 17 tackles, that means the man next to him may not be doing his job. So he's running down, making plays, things of that nature. But I think you cannot replace Whit Weeks when it comes to a leadership standpoint. And so it is going to affect this defense by not having him against A&M. Hopefully these guys can rattle around each other. Guys like Harold Perkins has been there 4 or 5 years. So they have that leadership and pick it up and bring everybody together. And everybody play on one accord. Just do your job. Do not try to do the next man's job. You do your job. Hopefully everything else will take care of itself.
Darry, I got 2 more things for you. Darry Beckwith is with us, former LSU linebacker. One, you ever puke in the middle of a game after you drink coffee a bunch?
No, I never puke. I don't know why Whit Weeks keeps doing that. He's insane, by the way. See, that's what we're going to miss. I mean, anytime a guy throws up every game and drinks coffee, he is absolutely insane in a good way. So I have never puked in the middle of a game. No, I haven't.
I mean, it's like he pukes because he drinks coffee. And he knows he's going to puke, but he keeps drinking coffee. I don't get it.
I know. You know what he's doing? It's a mental edge. Can you imagine being a quarterback or a center or a guard, and you see the linebacker pre-snap throw up, and he acts like nothing happens, and he goes on to the next play? You know how terrifying that is? The quarterback see that like, this guy's nuts. Whatever we do, let's not run his way. So, Whit, I understand what you're doing. It's a great psychological battle. I know what you're doing.
I mean, he's like just picking the puke out of his face mask. It's hilarious. Anyway, all right, last thing. You're a linebacker scouting the LSU offense. What do you see?
I see I'm going to have a great day. That's what I see as a linebacker. I see offensive linemen that's extremely soft and not athletic and can't work up to the second level. As a linebacker, I worry about O-linemen when I see them combo block and then work up to the second level really quick, and they're able to shield off a defender and turn me in the hole. They don't do any of that. And I'm not going to try to get all fancy and get schematical and say, oh, man, we can attack LSU offense this way. You don't have to have a scheme against the LSU offense because they don't have an identity and they don't have a scheme themselves. So it's easy. Watching them on film, I know we're going to dominate them. Watching them on film, I know they're not tough. I know they're not physical. I know they finger point. And I know on second down they're going to run the football. I've watched them all year long. It seems like on like second and 6 or second and long, they run the football every single time. And if typically, 40% of the time they're going to throw a bubble screen to the wide receiver. So it's really not much to scheme against, and it's really not much to prepare for, sadly to say. So I'm licking my fingers, I'm licking my chops, and I'm just ready to have a big-time game if I'm a defender playing this LSU offense.
You think they can fix it offensively?
No.
Why not?
It's week 7. I haven't seen any improvement. If you watch every college football team in America that's competing for a playoff position, Matt, and you watch a lot of football, you do a great job. I watch you every day. I have my son watching. He's almost like mimicking you right now. It's kind of scary. As a matter of fact, he's going to stop watching you. Every team that you see competing for a playoff, Matt, you have to be honest with yourself. Offensively, they have improved. I watched Alabama, didn't look so great against Florida State offensively. Guess what? They've improved. Ohio State, even though they beat Texas the first game, offensively they didn't look so great. They've improved. We have been 7 games, Matt, and I cannot sit up here and say that LSU offense has improved. Now, I think they're due for one game. I hope so. That's just because of large numbers. But they haven't improved. So if you haven't improved, I can't say that they can fix it.
Yeah. You're right, man. I was willing to hear the argument for the first month for all the reasons we talked about, but when they couldn't move the football against Ole Miss, that was a giant red flag. Like, man, they got some deep-seated issues I don't know they can fix this year. But, Darry, the hope is, man, you could be great for one day.
Yep, you can.
And maybe that day will be this Saturday in Tiger Stadium, which sure hope it is. He's former Tiger linebacker Darry Beckwith. Beast, we always appreciate you, man. Thanks for the time.
Matt, appreciate you, brother. Have a good one.
All right, be well. That is Darry Beckwith. Always good stuff. We appreciate Darry's time. Let me knock out a quick break. We got to run. Edgar Thompson's going to join us next from the Orlando Sentinels. Covered Florida for a long time. Why they fire Napier now? Is Kiffin realistic? All that stuff. We'll get to it next. It's AFR.
After further review.
Pumpkins. Y'all, we are 10 days away from Halloween. Clegg still has a great selection of pumpkins at all 4 locations. Seaganeer Airline, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Pumpkins. If you want to carve pumpkins at jack-o'-lantern for Halloween, Clegg's. You want to make your pumpkin pie, Clegg's. You want to do a pumpkin painting party with the kids or whoever you have coming over for trick-or-treat and all that stuff, Clegg's has you covered. All the different shapes and sizes, it's at Clegg's Nursery. Maybe you just want to put together a beautiful fall display for your front patio, for the back porch, the office, and your main lobby area of your office building. Clegg's got you covered with pumpkins and squash and gourds and hay bales and all the stuff. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Today,
We are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
I'm glad you're with us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. We always appreciate our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Obviously, major news in the SEC this weekend. Florida fires Billy Napier. Our buddy Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel, good enough to join us, kind of fill in some of the deets. Edgar, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Was that news?
I think it's pretty significant when Florida fires a coach. I think maybe the only thing that was surprising might have been the timing, perhaps. What did you make of the midseason firing?
No, I'm just kind of messing with
Sure.
you because, I mean, everyone could see it was coming, including Billy. But I think Billy knew after the game. The game was such an on-brand Billy Napier performance with just head-scratching calls of 12 men on the field and a two-point conversion. The field goal that went from 34 to 54 yards after consecutive penalties. I'm telling you, if Trace Mack hadn't channeled Tom Dempsey, they wouldn't have won that game. I mean, the guy had to hit two bomb field goals, and then when they need a 349-pound nose tackle to intercept the pass. So it was not the performance Billy needed to get him another week against Georgia next Saturday. But we were all expecting it, and the thing needed to end. All of us were ready. I think Billy was ready, and it just didn't work out. But the guy was a gentleman to the end, handled it with incredible class, and you have to laud him for that. And his players, I think, really respect him and revere him and are better for playing for him, maybe as men. And, but in terms of the product on the field, it just wasn't up to snuff. In fact, 48.8 winning percentage is the lowest since post-World War II. And 11 coaches since Raymond Wolf in 1949 when he left, no one's been at less than 55% as a Florida coach, and most of them are well into the 60s, if not the 70s. So Billy just was substandard by program history on every level. So it just needed to kind of end.
Yeah, Edgar, there were reports last week that boosters had threatened Scott Strickland. Essentially, if you don't make a change, we're not going to fund the program. Any truth, validity to that? How much of impact that had on the decision and the timing?
I spoke directly with someone in that room of two, not multiple, and dispelled that report vociferously.
Okay.
And was angry, in fact, about the report. Both men in the room were angry about that report by all accounts. And this is what happens. You let something fester. Billy probably, until that 4-game winning streak, he was gone until that 4-game winning streak. The vote of confidence followed by the 4-game winning streak. And the vote of confidence was almost like just because of program instability, just 3 years in and a $27 million buyout and an investment, you could shift some dollars toward getting a better roster, which the Gators certainly have. I mean, he's leaving a pretty good roster for the next guy. But especially some real young talent, playmakers particularly. But it's like, and it just wasn't. I just don't think it was pressure to bear on Scott from boosters. Though he's not ignorant to the fact that you keep this guy and you're just turning off people that do write checks, and you're about to do a $1 billion+ swamp renovation, raise ticket prices subsequently. So you really need to have the program and the donor base energized sooner than later. And everyone had just kind of mailed in on Billy, and even his most loyal people who liked him and thought he did things the right way, I think just couldn't tolerate the football in the end.
Can they Florida afford the buyout? Obviously, they're going to pay it, but to what extent does that affect their ability to spend on their roster and the next coaching staff, et cetera?
I think $10 million to Florida, and look, it's not nothing, but he gets half the buyout in 30 days, and then it's like $3 million a year for 4 more years, which that you can kind of handle pretty easily. $3 million, 10's a hit, but it is manageable. But yeah, in the age of revenue share, $20 million right there. NIL, if you're spending money on a roster, I mean, you're talking a minimum probably $12 million, $15 to put together the top rosters now. And it's a lot. And some of that's from rev share, don't get me wrong. I mean, some of that goes into building. So it's just a lot of money. And then you're going to have to pay this next coach. Like, let's say Lane Kiffin, because that's who everybody thinks is the target. That's the target, presumably. And whether he decides to leave or not, and he's going to be hotly pursued, even possibly by LSU if they decide to move him from Brian Kelly. And he could command $12 million, if not higher. Someone told me 15, which I think we're getting a little crazy. But Liam Cohen with the Jaguars, who's 39, 40 years old and hadn't even had an NFL head coaching job, is getting 15. And this is NFL light, if it even is light anymore. So it's you're going to be paying a ton. It's a lot of money. And then on top of it, as I said, they're going to redo the swamp. And you remember when they redid Tiger Stadium, 10 years ago, I think it was, maybe 11. And it was done really well. And I don't know what the price tag was on that. Well, it's doubled, if not tripled since then because of all, the cost of everything's gone up. And then I don't even know how tariffs and things impact, building a stadium. And there's always overruns. So, I mean, that thing's going to cost a pile.
He's Edgar Thompson. He's on Twitter at OSGators, Orlando Sentinel, at OSGators, if you want to give Edgar a follow, talking about what happens at Florida now that Billy Napier's out. Okay, you mentioned Lane Kiffin. How realistic is it that first of all, is he really at the top of the list? How realistic is that?
I think he is. I think that Scott Strickland has had some, maybe some concerns, probably legitimate, on that Lane has got a little Dan Mullen in him, 2.0 Dan Mullen, where he's maybe not the easiest guy to deal with in some respects, or maybe the high school recruiting aspect isn't like top of mind, or the organizational stuff. I'm not saying that he's not good at that. Dan was criticized heavily for that. I think it was maybe a little bit hyperbolic in some respects, but legitimate in others. Probably the same with Lane. But these guys, neither of them are the kind of guy who's going to come in like Billy and be meticulous about every aspect of the program, from the player experience to the housing to the parking, right? But that's all in place now. Billy has left this place in good stead in terms of that approach. So the next guy's going to walk into basically a ready-made program, and all that this next person's got to do is accrue talent and coach it. And Lane has proven he's an elite, game day coach, and Dan Mullen is elite himself. So that just didn't work out. But in this day and age, if you had a front office, which might be part of the equation too, this is moving toward the NFL model. They're probably going to change the structure of things here, Matt, and have a real GM, and have a structure that's going to be different. If Dan Mullen had operated within that and didn't have to worry about picking players and doing all that, not that you're not involved in that, but it isn't like your top job, and your job's to scheme, coach, develop. I mean, I could have worked out with Dan, but, Lane has got the same kind of savant-ish offensive skill on Saturdays, and that would be something that would fit really well with the ethos here at Florida, dating to Steve Spurrier. He's got the swagger. I'm not looking forward to having to cover his Twitter account as a second beat, but I do think that it could be entertaining. And he's good with the media. From my small snippets of dealing with Lane at SEC Media Days and spring meetings, I find him great. I think he's smart. He's engaging. He seems like he's got the right demeanor for all that. So, I mean, I would welcome it personally, but if you don't get him, then it starts to get tricky. And I'm just not sure who they would shift to, because some of the guys you want, for example, Marcus Freeman, I know is someone they are enamored with too. But is he really leaving the Golden Dome for Gainesville? I don't know. I don't know that that's really something someone's going to leave. A Notre Dame where, maybe he can't get a couple portal guys he'd rather have that he'd like to have because of some requirements. We'll loosen those a little bit. I don't know why he would leave. Or Jeff Braun is a name I've heard recently. And, I mean, he's not leaving Louisville. I'm told basically 0% chance. And then where do you shift? Eli Drinkwitz, is he really going to energize the fan base? I think he's good. Is he elite? Championship level? I don't know. Rhett Lashley? I mean, there are other guys, too. I mean, do you go to the route of, James Franklin? I don't think you do that here. I don't think that would be like a great sell. But he's a good football coach. Jed Fish is a guy whose name's come up. He was here with Steve Spurrier doing some grad assistant stuff, and he's a UF graduate. Pretty good offensive mind, but, is Washington going to be better in like 8-4 this year? I mean, it's hard sell. So, and then you got the timetable. I mean, it's tricky with the playoffs and all these things, right? But the portal being posted January 2 is a benefit. You do have to sign a class December 3rd. So it's just a lot, man. And I can't get my mind around it. I'm glad I don't have to make that higher.
Yeah. It's always the biggest question, Edgar. Everyone wants to fire the coach. No one wants to answer who you're going to hire, like who you can realistically get. It's always the challenge whenever athletic directors embark upon this journey. He's Edgar Thompson. We'll be following over at the Orlando Sentinel. Get him on Twitter at OS Gators, Orlando Sentinel, at OS Gators. He's Edgar Thompson. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
Oh, great. Hey, thanks, Matt.
Always our pleasure. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah. They do shutters, too, at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Give Brandon Holly and the gang over at Relief Windows a call. They'll come by, measure twice, install once. Every window custom-made to the exact specification of your home. You'll have an exceptional customer service experience, and you do this once and you're done forever. Remember, a true lifetime transferable warranty, meaning labor, material, glass breakage, something goes wrong, they're coming by, fix it, replace it for free for the life of the windows. That's what a true lifetime transferable warranty means at Relief Windows. Right there on Airline Highway in Prairieville. They service all of Louisiana, all the Gulf Coast, really. I mean, they go to Houston all the way east to Atlanta. Check them out at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, they do shutters too. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, final break here of hour number 2. We'll do Tigers and the Pros, Sean Salisbury, in about 15 minutes from right now. Saints getting closer potentially to the Tyler Shuck era. I'll get Sean's thoughts on that. We'll talk Aggies, Tigers as well. Glad you're hanging out with us here. It's AFR.
After further review.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. You need a realtor, and you need a realtor. You need Darren James. Agent225.com. Agent225.com for Darren James. Yes, you need a realtor. You realize nearly 75% of people that list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor. A lot of different reasons why. Maybe you don't know how to properly price your home. Maybe you just can't be home all the time for showings. That's why you need a realtor, and if you need a realtor, you need the best. You need Darren James. Darren, on the Wall Street Journal's list, the top 1% of realtors in America. No one does it faster. No one gets you more. You want more money in your pocket at the closing table? You want Darren James. Here's Darren's cell. 335-7666, 335-7666. One more time, 335-7666 or agent225.com, agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True.
by giving away the Blessed Builders Pool.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead...
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
A little bit of roster news for the New Orleans Saints. I'll go into a little more detail coming up at the bottom of next hour. We got Sean Salisbury after SportsCenter. But the Saints have moved Eric McCoy and Kendre Miller to IR. No surprise there. Season-ending injury. So that opens up a couple of roster spots. So the Saints have signed running back Velus Jones to the active roster. That'll be the replacement there for Kendre Miller. And they've also added Audric Estime to the practice squad. Remember, Audric Estime was a running back from Notre Dame, so he's now on the practice squad. It's another option for some running back depth there. We'll see what happens as they move throughout this week, get closer to the game Sunday against Tampa. But Velus Jones, the active roster, Audric Estime to the practice squad. All right, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, let's go ahead and start with Monday Night Football, the doubleheader, but the one you really want to pay attention to there is the Houston Texans and the Seahawks. The Texans defense. Danielle Hunter, 4 total stops in the game. Did not record a sack, which is a little odd, but he did end up with a hit on the quarterback. Another former LSU Tiger in the secondary, Derek Stingley Jr., 2 total stops in the game, but also an interception in the ballgame. His second INT of the season, returned at 17 yards before being brought down. One of 2 interceptions for the Texans defense, but they unfortunately fell to the Seattle Seahawks. Kevin Gausman made his first career relief appearance on Monday night for the Toronto Blue Jays. Ended up getting the win, by the way, as well. So 2-1 now in the postseason is Gausman. 1 shutout inning, didn't strike out anybody, walked 3, which is a bit of an ugly number. But hey, no one came around to score, and he gets the win. ERA of 2 in the postseason for Gausman. He's off to the World Series, faced the Dodgers. Shout out to Eric. He threw this my way on Twitter or X last night from Shams Sharania. Tari Eason. No rookie extension between the Rockets and Tari Eason. The sides could not bridge gaps on multiple fronts by Monday's deadline, so Eason will become a restricted free agent next offseason. But the Rockets, they opened the NBA season on Tuesday night against the defending champion Thunder, so Tari will be in action. We'll give you a recap of what he did on tomorrow's show. That's Tigers in the Pros.
We are presented by Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Love to keep my 64-ounce bottle of Evamore with me every day. It's delicious. It's natural artesian water. You can buy the 4-pack of 64-ounce. They've also got the 32-ounce packs and the 20-ounce packs as well. Find Evamore at a great local retailer near you. If you can't find it at a retailer near you, go to the website, evamore.com. They have a store locator on the main menu tab. Type in your zip code, and it'll give you the store nearest you that carries Evamore, or you can order it online at evamore.com. EVAMOR, evamore.com, evamore.com. Healthier alternative, natural hydration, natural artesian water. Drink Evamore. All right, y'all. It's after further review. SportsCenter's coming up. We get you caught up on national headlines. From SportsCenter, we always appreciate our friends at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sean Salisbury is coming up after the top of the hour. Sean was flexible with us last week and was good enough to jump board for a segment Friday when we were in Nashville, but excited to have him for our 2 segments. We will talk about the LSU Texas A&M matchup, how the Tigers fare against that Aggie defense, and flip side, how LSU might be able to limit Marcel Reed, some of the challenges there. And we do want to get into the convo with Sean a little bit here about Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck. At what point do you start to consider that move? We'll get into all of it with Sean Salisbury after SportsCenter.
AFR.
I've told you for years that if you are tired of contacts, glasses, readers, then you need to go see Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. Modern vision correction procedures offer better results, faster recovery, new options for people who've been told you're not a candidate. Maybe that's something you were told years ago. You went for a consultation, you're not a candidate for LASIK. There's so many options. LASIK, the custom lens replacement, PRK. There are seemingly endless options, no matter your age or your refractive issue. Whatever, maybe Evo ICL, whatever issue you have that's preventing you from waking up in the morning and just seeing 2020, Dr. Blake Williamson has a solution. Just go for that consultation. Call 924-2020.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parrish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parrishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parrishbuilt.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan.
and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunnyquip.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Nick DeLuca, back at it tonight in the NBA. Banner night in Oklahoma City. The defending champion Thunder hosting the Rockets in Kevin Durant's debut. Thunder's the favorites to win the 2026 NBA title on ESPN. Bet coverage tonight beginning at 7 Eastern here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Warriors and Lakers opening up their seasons tonight as well. No LeBron set to miss his first opener in his 20.
Hey, Sean, you got me? Awesome.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Matt?
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And glad to have Sean Salisbury join us as he does every Tuesday during football season. I was good enough to hang out for a little bit on Friday while we were in Nashville in a loud as hell honky-tonk bar. But we had a great time. And then the game happened. Sean, great to have you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to be on with you, brother. Thank you.
Of course, man. We always appreciate it. Was in Nashville to watch the Tigers. Didn't go great. They lost to Vanderbilt. Man, if I asked you 7 games in and you watch this LSU offense, which just can't finish drives, can't get out of its own way, is there a thing that you put your finger on and say, like, that's at the crux of the issue of what's going on with this team?
Well, Matt, in this game in particular, I know we're talking about the body of work of the whole season. But they did what we had talked about last week, but what you can't do. You can't let the quarterback be two-dimensional, and he was. And they gave up their missed tackles. they threw for what, 225, meaning LSU, but it just felt, I mean, they were outrushed by about $150 or $140 or something. So it continues to be the theme of being dominated for a team that's supposed to be, we'd like to think, physical at the line of scrimmage. And when your best player is beating you, meaning their leader and Diego doing what he's doing, they didn't take one element away. Now, the yards weren't big, but they made enough plays. He made enough plays with his feet. And when that happens, it's going to be a problem. I don't point to one thing, and I'm going to hate saying this because I have to say this about my Trojans at times, but I am going to hate saying, as many years I've been going on with you and my love for LSU, maybe they're not as good as we thought they were.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes, we as people who love the program, you, Matt, me, and my respect for it, but sometimes when I watch football and the same thing's happening, their offense should scare people more, and it doesn't. Their defense should get more stops in a front seven, and they don't. And I know with injuries and guys who aren't playing, but everybody's got a problem at this stage of the season on Saturdays and Sundays. So maybe, just maybe, this is a team that's not as good as we thought they were. There's talent. The parts are pretty good, but the sum may just not be as good. And there's positions that are underachieving that need to play better. And when I go in to watch them play it, there's nothing about their offense on a consistent basis that brings me to, oh my gosh, the fear. And I watched a Vanderbilt team that looked like they were the team. It looked like should have been switched from the past. LSU, Vanderbilt. They controlled the line of scrimmage. When's the last time LSU, aside from being a dog going in there, played Vanderbilt and was physically manhandled at the line of scrimmage? You can't fix that. I'm telling you, physical play you can't fix during the season. You just can't. This is who they are. Now, they may get some more wins. It's not going to get easy. I mean, A&M this week at home, that's not going to get easy. Hell, even though they gave up 40-plus to Petrino, they're pretty good. I'm starting to wonder if this is just who LSU is. It's not just one thing. It's a handful of them, and some of them I don't think are fixable during a season.
That's fair. Look, I mean, 7-game sample size is enough to say this is who you are.
Yep.
So A&M comes to Baton Rouge this weekend. And, Sean, it's interesting. I was reading something earlier today from it was Dan Wolken over at ESPN where it was a stat where the average margin of victory in the SEC this year is smaller than the margin of victory in the NFL. So you've got
it's saying something.
Parity is undeniable, right? I mean, the ceiling is lowered, the floor is raised, everyone's compressed, anyone can beat anyone. It's true. Like, hell, Texas just needed overtime to beat a bad Kentucky team. It's just what it is right now in the SEC. So can LSU win?
Yeah, they're not very good either, Matt. I don't mean to interrupt you. That team, we've got enough sample size to them. Their offense, you could be them. I mean, honestly, LSU could be them.
Yep.
I don't think they're on now. They can run it, but they're not there. They don't scare anybody. That team has zero shot to win a national title the way they played. So I digress.
Yeah.
And the way they've played all year long for the most part. 100% agree.
It's to say, and I agree with you. It's to say a week prior, though, they looked really good against Oklahoma. So point being, like, on a given Saturday, you can look good and you can win a game, and that may happen this weekend for LSU. But if it doesn't, what do you make of this matchup with LSU against Texas A&M, where a year ago it was LSU's inability to stop Marcel Reed that cost them at Kyle Field?
Well, I would caution LSU fans to not watch the Arkansas game and say, oh, that defense is bad. They're not in this position in this conference, being a team that continues to rise. There's going to be moments because there's good football players and good play callers all over, littered across sports and littered across college football. But the matchup to me is A&M has speed as well. Defensively, they're better than what you saw against Arkansas. And they can run it, but they can also – their quarterback is fairly dynamic. I mean, he's got some game. I don't know. Has A&M ever beaten LSU there?
Well,
have they beaten them in that building?
Not since they've been in the SEC. Historically, yes.
There you go.
But
that's right. Yes, in the SEC is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right. So it's been a minute. Well, when you say it, I mean, obviously LSU's been in it, longer. But my point here is that you're getting a team that – of all the teams that pretty complete of the teams they've played, and I'm talking Clemson, South Carolina, the Vanderbilt your team saw this past week. I'm trying to think who else they've had. I can just tell you this: Florida, them too. That overall on both sides of the ball, just production and team, this may be the best team they've faced. We thought Clemson's not near as good as we thought they were going to be either. And you can go through it. Neither is Florida, hence a coaching change. So it goes across. I'm talking about when you look at it, even though they're finding ways to win, and this is usually the type of time of year, Maddie, in the past, that Texas A&M has wilted physically.
Yes.
When Sumlin was there, they'll hang around Jimbo. They'll hang around the first 5 or 6 weeks, and their passing game has never been like, at least the last a decade, where it's like, oh, they've never wowed you. They'll have flashes of it, but it's never like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's just they got to run it, and then they're good. This quarterback's a pretty gifted kid, but this is different because Elko's built. Even though last week, notwithstanding, they're more physical than those teams, than Jimbo's teams, and Sumlin's teams. They just are. So this is a different look you're getting, and we can go through individuals, but overall on both sides of the ball, I'm not so sure that this is an LSU's biggest test at home or not, because you can get curb stomped if your offense plays poorly, and it gets wrong, because their defense will play better than they did against Arkansas, I would imagine.
One more here. What do you think specifically of Marcel Reed that's the biggest improvement from a year ago through 7 games this season?
I think he's more decisive throwing the football, Matty, just with the naked eye. As a guy who's, got big ties to Texas A&M with kids and stuff, I watch I'm always interested in where's the elevation of, like when Connor Wigman was there, just kind of thing with injuries that stalled out and he transfers, and then this kid comes in and plays well. To me, it feels like a more decisive decision maker, and that goes with experience, and that's decisive with the football tucked away and throwing the football and propensity to make some big plays. When he gets rolling now, he's a momentum guy, and he can streak you to death. So throwing the football. So just from watching him, just if you're just watching the game without turning on tape and watching it 2 or 3 times, he's a more decisive, and he's always been confident, but there's a confidence that goes with production as well. And in the past, I've never put them as, LSU's going to, if you stop the run, they can beat you throwing the football. It's been a minute since I've said that I felt that way, that they could do it consistently. They can, and he's capable of doing it. And like a lot of the guys they've dealt with this year, Diego, one of them, and Lagway in certain ways, that if you're going to pressure or get after him, you better tackle him because big plays happen when you don't. And this team's ability to make them and do the things they're doing, they're more physical. That sticks out to me more than anything. But for him, he's a more decisive quarterback, and where that puts people and where it puts him in the SEC rankings, that's up for each individual. I can tell you this: he can carry a game now, though. Yeah. He can dominate a game, and he can do it with both his legs and his arm.
And with Craver and Concepcion, they got some really good receivers there as well.
They sure do. They will go get it now. We know that, and it's been obvious, and it's helped him out to be more confident as well.
He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Y'all give him a follow. Of course, Unpaved on YouTube is where you get it. Let's not get a quick break. Come back. I do want to talk Saints-Bucks this weekend coming up in the Dome. Or the Saints may be getting closer to a quarterback change. We'll ask Sean Salisbury that next on AFR.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions at Glow Resources. Home base is right here in Baton Rouge. On Perkins Road near Pennington, Perkins and Quail Oak. Gorgeous headquarters. Did a gut renovation of that building. If you've never been, it might be worth setting a meeting with Glow Resources just to go tour their building. It's that cool. But anyway, if you're a business owner or you're the person in your business responsible for hiring or finding the right people, and that's where you've struggled, maybe it's skilled blue-collar labor. Maybe you need welders, pipe fitters, crane operators, whatever it may be, skilled blue-collar labor, or you're in a business where you need any type of office job. They have their professional placement division at Glow Resources that can help you find office assistants all the way up to C-level management, anything in between. Effectively, any job within your business that you need to find the right person to make your business more efficient, Glow Resources can find that person for you. So check them out at glowresources.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Right before I take her home, she thinks my tractor's sexy.
That's a week to week. I mean, we'll see as we go. We're focused on getting better right now. We got to get better, and so Spencer, obviously, we had a game where some turnovers occurred. We get to respond.
Kellen Moore, before the season started, said this was not going to be a quarterback carousel type season. They made the decision it was going to be Spencer Rattler. That was it. After starting 1-6 on Monday, Kellen Moore meets with reporters, and you heard him say right there when they were going to see Shuck, he said, well, it's a week to week. That tune has changed now. So when is it time? Sean Salisbury's with us at Sean Unfiltered. If you want to give him a follow there on Twitter, make sure you check out Sean on YouTube. It's Unpaved on Rumble is where you can find Sean on YouTube. Go subscribe to the channel. Okay, Sean, the Saints are 1-6. You could say through this start that Rattler hasn't been the problem, maybe not the solution, but he hadn't been the problem until 4 turnovers on Sunday. So how much more do you wait before you see what you got in the guy you took 40th overall?
What are we waiting on, Matty? And listen, I'm a big fan of Kellen Moore and his grind to get where he's at. I would have never gone into the season. See, to me, a quarterback carousel is you're playing them back and forth. Nobody gets rhythm. Nobody gets to learn how to make mistakes and come out of it. And nobody gets to lead the team because it's back and forth. That, to me, is a quarterback carousel. 7 games in, 1-6. We've had the conversation about Rattler. When you are in a position where, in truth, regardless of what everybody in there says, behind their closed doors, knowing the job is not solidified for the future, whether it's for him or Shook, it doesn't matter. But to me, you're not playing quarterback carousel 7 games in. You've won 1 game and got and pulled that one out. And while he hasn't been the problem, when Chicago they ran the ball well, they didn't explode the passing game. They were okay against the Saints, a few more plays than the Saints did. But those are the games you got to win, that you can't turn it over and throw the ball to the other team. When you're in his, and it is a fragile situation because you're trying to still earn your gig. And I'm a Spencer Rattler fan, but you just can't. You don't have the leeway that Jackson Dart's going to get as a first-round pick. You don't have the leeway. You just don't. And it's a results business, man. And this isn't a quarterback carousel. This is, okay, we're 1-6. Even though he's not the only reason we haven't won. Matter of fact, he's played decent, protected the ball for the most part. Things do change when you turn it over. You throw 3 picks and, you're just not putting the ball in the end zone and doing what you want to do. And there's some explosiveness and you're making poor decisions. At what point do you see what the next guy's like? I sure don't want to go into next year unless Rattler was dominating and playing great football. Why would I go into the next year? Then it wouldn't matter. Then I got my quarterback. We spent a first-round draft pick elsewhere. But let's say it continues like this. We're not winning, throwing for a couple hundred yards a game. Our run game is depleted. Another injury. The talk of Kamara being traded. Well, all the stuff that goes on. What are we going to go into next season saying, well, do we know what we got? Only way I want to know what I got behind Rattler is if Rattler throws 3 picks and costs us and we're 1-6. So this isn't quarterback carousel. That's coach speak. That's chatter. And I love Kellen, but it's complete coach speak. You got to see the forest through the trees. This is, well, the door's open. We're going to see how practice week goes. Trust me, they already have a pretty good idea who they want to start. Tomorrow's Wednesday. It's the work day. Whether it's Rattler or somebody else, they already know. But at what point in time are you going to find out? And we saw Russ Wilson throw for 455 or 485, and the next week his butt was sitting on the bench. So the stats, it's wins or losses, and you didn't know what you were going to get from. And it was a low stat game the next week, but it was a different energy. And it's a bummer because the quarterback, and I've been there, even if you're putting up numbers and they say, now it's got to be somebody else. Well, it sucks, but it's just the way the position is. And going in, it's like a coach. At some point, you're getting fired. More than likely throughout your career, you're going to go do it somewhere else and do it better than you did the last time. So I don't know what the weight is. You're either going to get lightning in a bottle and he's going to play great, or he's not, and you're going to be 5 weeks in and you're going to say, well, they're the same guy right now, so what's next? And then you get into your offseason. But do you want to go into the offseason where one's playing okay, but they're not winning? You need a lot. The salary cap stuff. You've got the guy you drafted that you hold in high regard, but if he doesn't see the field, and then the draft starts to come, you start evaluating, then what? So if they're 4-3, if they're 5-2, if they're, losing, they were 4-4, next week they get to 4 where they were a 500 team, different story, because then you can see the other things. But you in the situation he's in, unfortunately for Rattler, you can't afford to make errors like that, because what you do, the door that was open, you've kicked it open for the other guy because your glove has been left on the mound. That's just the reality of the situation. We all want to sugarcoat it. Hard position, hard to keep the job, hard to sustain it. And even though there's a lot of factors involved, it's the head coach and the quarterback. That's where it starts. And it always does if you're not winning, because we beg our quarterbacks to elevate, not to stay stagnant. And the offense right now doesn't do much. They're just kind of there. So they need a kickstart, and it will not shock me. But at some point this season, this continues and they don't make the decision, then that's a Kellen Moore and organization bad mistake. If they stick with him, he gets hot, then that's why they're the coach in the front office. But right now, you can't continue to see these results and play the same guy week in and week out. It's insanity, even though it's not just his fault. But it's just the way it is. You've got to have a spark, and energy does matter at that position, and so does buy-in. And maybe it's somebody else, and maybe it's Rattler. But that's not quarterback carousel. That's I got to start to get something going on my team, and the next answer is the guy who's the number 2 quarterback. It happens in every organization in football.
Do you think about the when on the schedule, like timing your jump, Sean? For example, like they're at home this week against Tampa, which is a tough opponent, but you're home, and then the next 2 weeks, so you're at the Rams, at the Panthers, then you have your bye. Like, would you rather him start a home game or a game coming off the bye against Atlanta? Like, does any of that factor in?
I think it does at times. You get ready with LSU's like the year, Burrow, those guys, and you're a new kid. You got to go in there and play them when they're undefeated and rolling, scoring 50 points a game, and you're shot. I mean, you look at, let's be realistic, right? With that right. Situation, you're exactly right. In this case, we're in the pros, man. I've shifted my paradigms on this. When is the right time? Do we really think if Rattler's playing and he's the guinea pig because you're playing against Tampa and you're playing against the Rams and you get Carolina and Vikings. What am I going to learn? And I've talked to head coaches before, and I understand you want to have patience because we ask them to be great too quick. It'd be nice to have patience, Rodgers, Jordan Love, but we don't have that much these days. And you want them to have patience, but there's this other side of me that says, okay, so when? This league's crazy. One week you're the Cleveland Browns and you can't do anything. The next week he outplays Favre and he's 40 years old. And not Favre, but Rodgers, and then Cleveland wins. I mean, it's crazy. So when is the right time? Is the right time where you play the Saints if you're opposing quarterback, and yet boom, they come up and play their best game? I don't know when it is. The difference is a couple players, 8 to 10 plays a game in quarterback play between a good team and a team that's not good. Look at the Chiefs. We had them buried 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They're the odds-on favorite to be the Super Bowl champion just 4 weeks later because they get 2 receivers back and are playing better. I'll tell you what I do. If I'm making the decision, it has zero to do with the schedule because it's never going to be easy. And if you're the backup, as I'm talking to coaches, the whiteboard doesn't move. At some point in time, you're going to have to play a good team. I didn't make the decision on Jackson Dart, who it's against. I'm putting him in, and we're going, whether it's home or away. Maybe, just maybe, he loves to thrive on big competition. It brings out the best in the next guy or whoever that is. I don't, especially now if it was 1 week, Matty, you're playing the Rams this week or Tampa, and then you have the bye week. I get it. But right now, that's too far removed. And if you want to play Rattler this week, go ahead. But I'm not making a decision based on my worry about a quarterback's fragility. I'm just not. Because if that's the case, you shouldn't have drafted his ass in the first place if you're worried about a bad game, him being so rattled that one game ruins his career. That's the case. He was never going to be worth the powder it takes to blow him to hell and back anyway. So for me, coach him up. It's the truth. Coach him up, and let's find out. And while it's a bummer to see a guy struggle, behind closed doors, find me a guy from Aikman to Marino. Well, Dan may not have as a rookie. He was inhuman. But find me a guy who hasn't had one of those games where you walk off saying, I wasn't any good. Well, okay, now what? I don't give trophies away for playing hard. You just got to deal with it. And the quarterback position is a different egg. And so is quarterback fragility. If you're fragile, you're always going to be fragile, man. I'm just telling you. If you're just like a boxer who's got a glass jaw, if his jaw is glass, it doesn't all of a sudden turn to stone or steel. It's 12 years into his career. So, and maybe you find some about Rattler. Whoever you make the decision. I'm never basing the decision on young and what if 3 weeks from now. Because who do they play coming out of the bye week?
Atlanta.
Matty, off the top of your head.
Atlanta.
Okay. So all of a sudden their offense is kicked into gear and Robinson rushes for $150 and you got to score 3 touchdowns coming around. I know it looks different, the Rams and the Falcons, but you know what? I don't care. If you're going to play him, let's get him up there and get him learning and let him learn how to fail because he's going to fail at times if you're going to make the decision. If not, let it rip and go and cut it loose and do whatever you got to do. But I'm not waiting for fragility on my quarterback because that tells me my scouting department and my draft pick, I didn't do it right if I'm worried about my quarterback being fragile. If you're not fragile in New York, Jackson Dart, after fumbling the ball and laying it down, then I'm never worried about that kid's swagger. And I shouldn't be worried about it on my own team in New Orleans as well.
By the way, you're right. Dart, his first start was against the Chargers. I mean, that a lot of people thought, hey, why not wait and let him play against the Saints? They played against the Chargers his first game.
And without that energy, you saw it. I mean, that energy, even though I understand they didn't explode, but you saw right from the get-go how that defense played. And hell, the Chargers haven't been the same since.
Yeah.
And so that energy matters, man. I'm telling you, buy-in's just as important a lot of times as talent. And sometimes guys rise against good teams. If you're going to do it, don't let a bye week or the schedule prevent you from doing it.
Real quick, last thing. Tampa has to come to New Orleans now. Back-to-back travel, Monday Night Football, short week, traveling to New Orleans. Something to watch in that game with the Saints hosting the Bucs Sunday?
Yeah, I think it can always be a dangerous game, but the way that Tampa Bay was moved around and pushed around, their receiving core, excuse me, Matty, it feels almost like the Saints running back core, right? Man, just when we go, the unfortunate injury to Mike Evans, and it's just like 5th and 6th guy. Where are we going? We got to trade for somebody. And the spread's 4.5, which tells you something, because if they were healthy, it would be different. They even though they're going on the road. But yeah, you look around the league, you blink one day, and all of a sudden, one team, Atlanta's getting beating somebody up 30-0, and then the next week they're getting their butt handed to. It's crazy. So of course, because it's competitive and because you can get a little lucky, and a turnover or two or an injury change things. But if they both line up and play their best, even with what they got, Tampa's winning this game. A short week can work at an advantage after you got beat, because you don't want it to fester any longer. I would expect Tampa to try to create a lot of confusion with their front on the quarterback, whoever it is. And on the other side, they run the ball physical. They do, even with injury, they will pound you and hit you. And I think the quarterback's energy, and I think Tampa would, had they won this game last night, I might think letdown. But they realized going to New Orleans can be a dangerous game. We saw how Tom had struggled even at times when he was in Tampa with Brady. I would think they're going to be on guard and prepare for it. I like Tampa in the game, especially coming off a loss in a short week.
Sean Salisbury, make sure you get him on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered and Unpaved on Rumble there on YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe to the YouTube channel with us every Tuesday. Sean, you're the best, man. We always appreciate a couple of minutes.
Appreciate you. Always, man. Thank you.
Be well. It is Sean Salisbury. This is AFR presented by Supper Club, y'all. Well, I owe Russ Mitchell a Supper Club dinner. I'm sure he will remind me that I'm going to make good on that when he's with us tomorrow. And I'm always good for it. And it's just actually a good excuse to go to Supper Club. Right there on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. They took Las Vegas, New York, L.A., D.C., San Francisco, Paris, Rome, where they took Abu Dhabi. They took the world-class dining experience, dropped it right there on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. If you've never been to Supper Club, why not? Go experience it, man. SupperClubBTR.com is where you can get your reservations. SupperClubBTR.com. They're open right now, as a matter of fact. They're open Tuesday to Saturday. So you knock off of work, and you're thinking, I'm going to meet a client. We'll go have a glass of wine, a cocktail. Go to Supper Club. Even if you don't have a reservation, remember, open seating at the bar. 14 bar stools, 7 bar tables. You can always just pop on in, first come, first serve at the bar. So make it a Supper Club night any night. And this weekend, Tigers back at home. You know Football Fridays are massive over at Supper Club. All day Saturday as well, or I should say Saturday night at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservation. SupperClubBTR.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Couple segments to go. We'll knock out a quick break. Mike Elko did meet with reporters to sort of preview the LSU game. Let's hear some of what he had to say when we come back. Jimmy's here in 15 minutes for Auto Locks. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Stick around with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon, get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done. Hey, look, it doesn't matter if it's an auto accident, a big truck wreck, if it's any type of workers' comp case, maritime. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, do what injured people in our state have done for decades. Get Gordon and get it done. You can always call Gordon. He's got offices all over the state of Louisiana. 888-8888, 888-8888. That's 888-8888. Or go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Pretty excited. We're finalizing a few remotes we'll be doing over at Court to Table at Gordon's office for the bike giveaway, which is coming up during the holiday season as well. Love all the philanthropy they do. And, of course, all his NIL deals. Caden Durham, the latest Get Gordon athlete. Get Gordon and get it done.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along.
Obviously a big opportunity, a big stage, a chance to go down to Baton Rouge for what will be a very big game in a hostile environment, and so another opportunity for this program to take a step forward. And so we're looking forward to the challenge and excited.
It's interesting. That's Mike Elko, by the way. It's interesting because it's something I did an interview this morning with David Nuno over at Texags, and I know Billy Lucci talked about it on his show as well. One of the things that has been a big point of emphasis on the A&M side is, you know, they have not won in Baton Rouge since they came into the league, and this has been a series that now over the last half decade has been dominated by the home team. So it's interesting that you've had this back and forth volley now in this series, and the home teams have sort of owned it. And similarly for A&M, they're looking at this going, okay, you've been here before. A year ago, A&M lost in their home field to Notre Dame in their opener, and then they got hot. And remember when LSU went to Kyle Field, that was a battle of the top two teams in the SEC. Those were the two remaining unbeaten teams in the SEC. And LSU was in control of that game until they weren't. We all know the story, right? Marcel Reed came in and sort of turned that game on its head. And the Aggies moved into the top 10, and it looked like maybe they were the team that was going to take off and explode there in the final month of the season. And after the LSU win, A&M lost 3 of the next 4. They lost the next week at South Carolina, got pounded 44-20 the next week. They beat New Mexico State and then lost to Auburn in overtime and lost 17-7 to Texas and then lost the bowl game. And they finished 8-4 with the bowl game loss to finish 8-5. So we saw it. We saw it a year ago. So A&M is looking at this going, we've seen this movie before. We've been really good, and then we lose in Baton Rouge, or we struggle in November. We go 8-4. That's been the narrative around A&M for as long as they've been in the SEC. And you look at what's ahead. They're 7-0. They're undefeated. They're ranked 3rd in the country. And now they're going to go at LSU, at Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, at Texas. They got 4 conference games remaining, 3 of them on the road. And by the way, this is a stretch where they're going to go back-to-back-to-back road conference games. Incidentally, since Texas A&M has been in the conference, I don't know if you know this, is one of the angles I talk about a lot here is back-to-back road conference games. It's very difficult to go on the road consecutive weeks in this conference and win. Texas A&M has not done that. They have not won back-to-back road conference games since 2012, their first year in the league, the Johnny Manziel Heisman year. At the end of the season, after losing to LSU, incidentally, 24-19, they went at Auburn and won, at Mississippi State and won. State was 15th in the country then, by the way. And then that's when they had the Manziel game at Alabama and beat number 1 Alabama. So they went back-to-back road conference games in 2012 that they won. Since then, they have not won back-to-back road conference games at any point during their time. As a matter of fact, the next year in 2013, they lost back-to-back road conference games at LSU and at Missouri. You can go through the years that they've been in the league. It's a very difficult thing to do. The last time they faced back-to-back road conference games was in 2022, and it was at Mississippi State, at Alabama. They lost in both. Then they had an open date and lost at South Carolina. All that to say, this is a real challenge for A&M trying to win on the road consecutively in the league and win in Baton Rouge, where they have not won since they've been in the SEC. And that's something Mike Elko was asked about on Monday, was the opportunity to sort of end these droughts and streaks that they're trying to put an end to this season there in College Station.
You know, we came here with a vision of what this program should be. We knew in order for that to become a reality, we were going to have to do that. You know, the vision of this program has not been this program's reality. We've talked about that since I got here, that, you know, we can't just keep saying we want to be something. We're actually at some point going to have to go out and do it. That was going to require us winning on the road, winning SEC games on the road, beating top 10 teams. Like, all of that was part of why we haven't been able to chase this elusive title that we've been searching for so long, or do any of those things. And so, yeah, I don't know that I find tremendous joy. It's just, it's good to see the program continuing to move in the right direction. I think that's how I take all of that.
In 2019, they lost back-to-back road conference games against Georgia and then against LSU. In 2018, they lost back-to-back road conference games at Mississippi State, at Auburn, lost them both. I mean, you can go through the years. Like, this isn't some fabricated thing that's plucked from the air. 2017, they won at Ole Miss, then lost at LSU. It is a difficult thing to do in this league for any team in consecutive weeks to go away from home in this conference on the road and win. And that's one of the things A&M has not been able to do, along with not winning in Baton Rouge. And that's the challenge they face this week, coming to LSU, to Baton Rouge, in a game where they're a slight favorite. They're a 2.5-point favorite in this football game in Baton Rouge. It's sort of it's moved a little bit from 1.5 to 2.5. But, you know, Elko was also asked about, again, like, this isn't me fabricating a talking point. This is Mike Elko at his press conference with the A&M media asking him questions. So this isn't like LSU guy making up the storyline. This is what the A&M media is asking the A&M coach this week. Why has A&M struggled to win at LSU?
For a large period of time, we didn't go down there physically and stand up to the challenge. I think when you saw some of the early games, that was kind of always the, like, okay, this is what the SEC looks like. I think as our program grew, we started to get closer and closer. Obviously, my first experience was going down there and playing the 2019 team. That wasn't a lot of fun, but that was historically one of the best teams in college football. I think when we went down there in 21, it was obviously a much more competitive game from a physical standpoint. And I think that's the gap that we've tried to close as a program. And so obviously, the series has been very balanced since I've been here in 2018. Someone's going to crack through at some point on the road, and Saturday's an opportunity for us to be the team that does it.
It's an opportunity, no doubt, and they've got a good opportunity. I keep looking at this game, and there's a lot of things that historically line up for LSU. Why this game is such a tight point spread game when you would think it shouldn't be. At night in Baton Rouge, where Brian Kelly's teams have obviously been very good. A&M having to go back-to-back road conference games, as tough as that is. The success the home team has had in this series, all that stuff, it all plays in. And I understand this is going to be a massive challenge for LSU this weekend, because I like Texas A&M. I mean, that was the team before the season that look, I'm not considering until I got everything right. Certainly, I mean, I picked LSU to win the league. I had LSU-Texas in the SEC championship game, clearly. missed. One of the things I liked was A&M because I loved them at the line of scrimmage. They returned 4 starters on the offensive line, 3 really good running backs, and Marcel Reed, who gives you that dimension as well in the running game. And I just trust Mike Elko to have a good defense because he's earned that reputation. So this is going to be a big challenge for LSU. Now, I think there's a major benefit LSU has with Le'Veon Moss not being there. As much as that sucks, Le'Veon Moss is their best running back. And I would argue Le'Veon Moss is the best running back when he's healthy. He's the best running back in the SEC this year. And so not having Moss, I think, is a big deal in this game. But I also wonder, if LSU is still without Whit Weeks, which I don't think they're going to have. There's been an announcement. I just get the sense they're preparing to not have Whit Weeks this week. We'll see about Bernard Gooden. How do those absences impact this game? We'll see as we get closer. Hey, we're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. Love telling you about Parish Restoration because it's a more cost-effective, more efficient, more effective way to eliminate mold, other harmful pathogens, odor. Maybe in your home, apartment, car, place of business, you got odor from a fire, from pets, from sweat, whatever it may be. They'll come spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. It'll knock out all the bacteria that's causing that odor. Maybe you bought a house, they had pets, or there was a smoker that lived there and you can't get rid of that odor. No problem. Call Parish Restoration. They'll knock it out. Parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. They'll get in touch with you. Lickety split. Parishrestoration.com. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine. You want a John Deere tractor? There's one place you're going, Bunky and below. You're going to Sunshine. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Okay, final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will be here for Auto Lock. Stick around. AFR.
AFR.
If you have an event coming up, or you might have an event coming up, I want you to remember the Watermark and the Renaissance, 2 amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge that are perfect for hosting whatever event you may have. At the Renaissance, which is right there on Bluebonnet, near I-10, their grand ballroom can hold up to 500 people. They have 13,000 square feet of meeting space. It's incredible. So they can manipulate their space to host whatever event you have. A fundraiser, an awards banquet, a wedding reception, a board meeting, anything. I've had plenty of events. I was there just 2 Thursdays ago for a fundraiser at Renaissance Baton Rouge. And remember Watermark Downtown, the picture of elegance in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge's premier luxury hotel is Watermark Baton Rouge. And they can host your events there as well. What a great place to have a wedding reception or wedding ceremony in downtown. It's Renaissance and Watermark Baton Rouge. Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. We always appreciate Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. We'll get to Otter Locks here in just one quick second. Of course, inching closer to the holidays, gents. If you're thinking of popping the question, no better place to go than Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com is where you can start online. But remember, Lee Michaels, thrill her with a gift in the red box. No matter your budget, no matter what it is you're looking for, Lee Michaels specializes in what they call the Lee Michaels experience. They're going to make you feel comfortable. She's going to be thrilled. You're going to be a hero. It's what they've been doing for 4 decades. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Great time right now. Maybe you got an anniversary coming up. You can trade in that old diamond for a new, maybe an upgrade on the diamond. They're at Lee Michaels. They got a great selection. If they don't have it, they'll get it. If they can't get it, they'll make it. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Good, Matt. How about you?
Doing awesome, man. Ready for a little Tuesday night Maction tonight, huh?
No Maction tonight, but
no?
CUSA, Sunbelt, whatever it is. But
oh yeah,
no,
Oh, I see the pics here. When do we get into Maction? I thought we had Tuesday Maction now.
I have to look at the schedule. But,
hey, you know what else we got tonight? We got the old Honey Boo Boo and the selection committee releasing their poll today.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
All right. Okay. All right. We'll have to see. I'm not sure on it. I'm trying to think who I'm interested in.
Nobody.
You know, BYU.
Yeah.
BYU is going to be much higher ranked than they are probably, the polls than they are in the actual thing. I know they are in the power ratings. So anyway, let's get to it tonight. Kennesaw State on the road here against Florida International. We had Florida International, big win for them, comfortable win as a double-digit dog last week on the weekday that we hit. But we're jumping across here. We're going to go against FIU tonight, fade them. We are going to take Kennesaw State, the Owls, -3 in that one. And then in Ruston tonight, Louisiana Tech and Western Kentucky. Louisiana Tech, they do have a pretty good defense. This is one of the better offenses that they'll face, though, tonight. Western Kentucky had the roughest offensive showing last week. We look for them to bounce back. But also, Louisiana Tech's final score has been one of the more misleading this year. They had 6 defensive touchdowns earlier this year that kind of inflated some scores. Look, they're doing it, but I don't know if it's sustainable. So we're going to revert back to the mean here. Take Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers, one of my favorite mascots, a little red blob.
Big
Love
red.
that guy. Yes, yes. And then tonight in NBA, the association ring night tonight for Oklahoma City. We always fade the champs. We're going to take the Rockets plus the 6.5 on the road in the first of an NBA doubleheader.
By the way, Western Kentucky, you gave it out on the website at 3. It's up to 4.5 now.
Very good.
Even better. Don't be a moron.
Bet more on it.
Bet more on it. Where are you tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City, but not just pizza, boy, but a bunch of really good stuff. Great spot.
Shout out to Ozzy, man. Roca is an awesome spot right there in Government. If you've never been, go tomorrow for lunch or go anytime. Go check out Roca. It's a great spot. Fully endorsed, 10 out of 10. All right, man. Have a great show. Good luck tonight, Otter.
All right, good luck, Matt.
All right, thanks. We'll see you. Again, Houston, the Rockets, +6.5. NBA opening night. And then the two plays in college football, Kennesaw State laying 3. And Western Kentucky now at DraftKings is up to +4.5. So if you waited, you benefit. Favorites early, dogs late. You'd benefit there. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Remember, when you go to the website, southpointvw.com, we're talking about all the dealer specials are there. You can work out your financing online as well. Like, if you're someone who doesn't want the hullabaloo of going and haggling, and no worries. Just go to the website, southpointvw.com. Search the entire inventory. Every vehicle, new and pre-owned. If it's on the lot, it's online. Search new or used. You'll hit the drop down. You'll see every vehicle on the lot with pictures of that actual vehicle right there on the lot. Airline just north of Highland. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. I can passionately endorse South Point Volkswagen because Eric and I have bought a lot of cars from South Point Volkswagen over the last 14 years. southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Oh my goodness, do we have time for what we learned? Muse, what did you learn today? Paulie, what did you learn today on the show? Anything?
I learned that if Lane Kiffin gets hired at Florida, his Twitter is going to be Edgar's second beat.
That was interesting.
That was funny.
I liked
that line.
Shout out to Edgar Thompson, was here from the Orlando Sentinel. Darry Beckwith was here in hour number 2 as well. Shea was here in hour number 1. Sean Salisbury earlier this hour if you missed it. Tons of stuff. AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Check it out if you missed. Paul, did you learn anything over there?
I learned Darry Beckwith doesn't think the LSU offense is fixable.
Yeah, that was not encouraging at all.
What did you learn, Matt?
Nothing. Okay. I learned you started early today.
3 hours well spent for you there.
I mean, I already knew everything, Muse. I learned that you started early over there. Flub right there on the open of the show, Muse. See you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, let me remind you about their words. They're just words. Let me remind you about Arco Power Systems. Arco.com, Arco.com, ARCCO, Arco.com. So when we talk about Arco Power Systems, I want to remind you again, this is not your home standby generator. This is industrial generator power. This is generator power for your business. What business? Doesn't matter. Literally any industry. Anything in the industrial sector. Grocery stores, hospitals, gas stations, banks, schools, industrial facilities, governments, municipalities, anything. Power goes out, you need standby generator power, Arco Power Systems. It's such an impressive business. Not only the people in it, but the breadth of their service. North to Little Rock, west to San Antonio, east to Mobile, offices all over the place. It's Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app. 90s country and beyond. 100.7 The Tiger.